Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Shakespeare stream. So
Distinction.
we can hear you, Dave. So I am joined by Dave, aka Badmouse, who's a friend of mine, who's going to be helping me do Measure for Measure, and then after that, very excited. We'll be doing a Midsummer Night's Dream. For those of you who aren't familiar with Measure for Measure, it's another one about cucks. It's all about cucks. Dave, would you like to be down as? Oh, Dave can't hear anyone at the moment. Never mind. But we can in fact hear
you're
Dave.
muted.
No, I'm not.
There we go.
All right, give us a second to lock down.
Hello?
There we are. There we are.
Hello.
Hi, Dave. Welcome on. People can hear you. You're on the stream. I was just asking, would you like to be down as Dave or as Badmouse?
I would be delighted to be Dave, because Badmouse is just so impersonal.
Okay, so we have Dave as the Duke. So let me just give me a moment. Dave the Duke, the nameless Duke. So give me a couple of minutes to find where we are in the script here. Measure for Measure 155. For those who aren't familiar with it, it's another one about cucks. It's a lot about incels. It's All's Well That Incels, basically. It's Incels the play. It's going to be great. If you've just joined us, as it seems that several people have, we're live streaming the complete works of Shakespeare to raise money for the Samaritans, who are a mental health charity. They help people who are in emotional distress. They have a suicide hotline, very famously, which saved my life. Well, it didn't famously save my life, but it is a very famous thing that happened to save my life. And then they also help people in all kinds of emotional distress. So, so far we have raised $38,000. We've been streaming for about 21 hours. Constantly. I've had about 3 hours sleep in that time. So and we've got a lot more plays to go. So do you have a script in front of you, Dave?
I certainly do. Yes.
All right, cool. And do I have a list of roles?
I don't know. It's over to Alice.
Don't worry about it. Over to Alice. Well, am I? Can you tell me whether I'm Aeschylus or not, and then we can just start there. Okay, cool. So I'll be Aeschylus and I'll be Angelo. So let's.
Was my role all planned in advance? Because David Duke is.
That is a terrible coincidence. No, I think the Duke of Vienna, you're the Duke of Vienna, who basically he's a massive troll in this whole play. You'll love him. He's great. He messes with everybody for no reason, and then I'm a horrible Kylo Ren incel. It's great.
I haven't done Shakespeare in 7 or 8 years. Thank you.
I haven't done it in 15 minutes. Let me just fiddle with the lights then. Let's get something a little more suited as we wait to this play about passion. And we may even draw the curtains later on.
Very red.
Yeah. All right then.
Where are you, by the way? That doesn't look like your room.
Oh, I'm in an undisclosed location in London. We hired a place to do it from, mainly because that gives us a time limit. So we have to be out of here. Thank you, Alice. We have to be out of here by Wednesday morning. So we're kind of looking to fix probably to finish late Tuesday night.
You'll do that.
We've got a fair way to go. But okay, here we are. We're in Vienna. Over to you. You've got the opening line, because in comes the Duke, Aeschylus, and their attendants.
Oh God, that's a lot of pressure. Okay. How am I going to do it right? Aeschylus,
my lord.
Of government and properties to unfold would seem in me to affect speech and discourse, since I am put to know that your own science succeeds in that the lists of all advice my strength can give you in no more remains but that to your sufficiency as your worth is able, and lets them work. The nature of our people, our cities, institutions, and terms for common justice, you're as pregnant in as art and practice have enriched any that we remember, there is our commission, from which we would not have you warp. Call hither, I say, bid come before us, Angelo. What figure of us think you here will bear? For you must know we have, with special soul, elected him our absence to supply, lent him our terror, dressed him in our love, and given his deputation all the organs of our own power. What think you of it?
If any in Vienna be of worth to undergo such ample grace and honour, it is Lord Angelo.
Look where he comes.
And here comes Angelo, which is me. I always get big Kylo Ren vibes from Angelo. So, always obedient to your grace's will, I come to know your pleasure.
Angelo, there is a kind of character in thy life that, to the observer of thy history, fully unfold thyself and thy belongings, and not thine own so proper as to waste thine self upon thy virtues, they on thee. Heaven doth with us as we with torch do not light them for themselves. For if our virtues did not go forth of us, 'twere all alike, as if it were them not. Spirits are not finely touched, but to fine issues, nor nature never lend the smallest scruple of her excellence. But like thrifty goddess, she determines herself the glory of the creditor, both thanks and use. But I do bend my speech to one that I can part in him advertise. Hold therefore, Angelo, in our remove be thou at full ourself, mortality and mercy in Vienna, live in thy tongue and heart, old Aeschylus. Though first in question is thy secondary, take thy commission.
Now, good my lord, let there be some more test made of my metal before so noble and so great a figure be stamped upon it.
No more evasion. We have a leavened and prepared choice proceed to you. Therefore take your honours. Our haste from hence is of so quick condition that it prefers itself and leaves unquestioned matters of needful value. We shall write to you, as time and our concerning shall importune how it goes with us, and do look to know what doth befall you here. So fare you well God, to hopeful execution do I leave you of your commissions.
Yet give leave, my lord, that we may bring you something on the way.
My haste may not admit it, nor need you, on mine honour, have to do with a scruple. Your scope is as mine own, so to enforce or quality of law, so to enforce or quality of. As to your soul seems good, give me your hand. I'll privily away. I love the people, but do not like to stage me in their eyes. Through it do well, I do not relish well their loud applause and aves vehement, nor I think the man of safe discretion that does affect it once more. Very well.
The heavens give safety to your purposes.
Lead forth and bring you back in happiness.
I thank you. Very well.
And so the Duke goes. I shall desire you, sir, to give me leave to have free speech with you, and it concerns me to look into the bottom of my place, a power I have, but of what strength and nature I am not yet instructed.
'Tis so with me. Let us withdraw together, and we may soon our satisfaction have touching that point.
I'll wait upon your honour. And so they leave, and Angelo has been placed in charge of the entire city, with Aeschylus as his second in command. And in comes Lucio and two other gentlemen. Oh, Lucio's an absolute legend. I'm so glad I get to play this role. If the Duke with the other dukes come not to composition with the King of Hungary, then why all the dukes fall upon the King?
Heaven grant us its peace, but not the King of Hungary's.
Amen.
Thou concludes like the sanctimonious pirate that went to sea with the 10 Commandments, but scraped one out of the table.
Thou shalt not steal.
Aye, that he raised.
Why, it was a commandment to command the captain and all the rest from their functions. They put forth to steal. There's not a soldier of us all that, in the thanksgiving before meat, do relish the petition well that prays for peace.
I never heard any soldier dislike it.
I believe thee, for I think thou never wast where grace was said.
No, a dozen times at least.
What, in Metro?
In any proportion or in any language.
I think, or in any religion.
Aye, why not? Grace is grace, despite of all controversy, as for example, thou thyself art a wicked villain, despite of all grace.
Well, there went but a pair of shears between us.
I grant, as there may be between the lists and the velvet, thou art the list.
And now the velvet. Thou art good velvet, thou art a three-piled piece, I warrant thee. I had as lief be a list of an English kersey as be piled, as thou art piled for a French velvet. Do I speak feelingly now?
I think thou dost, and indeed with most painful feeling of thy speech. I will out of thine own confession learn to begin thy elf, but whilst I live, forget to drink after thee.
I think I have done myself wrong, have I not?
Yes, that thou hast, whether thou art tainted or free.
And here comes a board, which is to say a sex worker. I think the chat are asking, can we turn up one of the lads? One of the lads is a bit quiet. The one that is quiet. Okay. And in comes a sex worker named Mistress Overdone, and I say, "Behold, behold, where Madam Mitigation comes! I have purchased as many diseases under her roof as come to."
To what, I pray?
Judge.
To $3,000 a year?
Aye, and more.
A French crown more.
Thou art always figuring diseases in me, but thou art full of error. I am sound.
Nay, not as one would say, Elfie, but so sound as things that are hollow. Thy bones are hollow. Impiety has made a feast of thee.
How now? Which of your hips has the most profound sciatica?
Well. There's one yonder arrested and one carried to prison worth 5,000 of you all.
Who's that, I pray thee?
Marry, sir, that's Claudio. Signor Claudio.
Claudio to prison? 'Tis not so.
Nay, but I know 'tis so. I saw him arrested, saw him carried away, and, which is more, within these 3 days, his head to be chopped off.
But after all this fooling, I would not have it so. Art thou sure of this?
I am too sure of it, and it is for getting Madame Giulietta with child.
Believe me, this may be. He promised to meet me 2 hours since, and he was ever precise in promise-keeping.
Besides, it draws something near to the speech we had to such a purpose.
But most of all, agreeing with the proclamation.
Anyway, let's go learn the truth of it, and everybody leaves. Or I leave, and so does the gentleman.
Thus, what with the war, what with the sweat, what with the gallows, and what with the poverty, I am custom shrunk.
And in comes a clown named Pompey. Do we have a Pompey?
Yes, I'm here.
Cool.
How now? What's the news with you?
Yonder man is carried to prison.
Well, what has he done?
A woman.
But what's his offense?
Groping for trouts in a peculiar river.
What, is there a maid with child by him?
No, but there's a woman with maid by him. You have not heard the proclamation, have you?
What proclamation, man?
All houses in the suburbs of Vienna must be plucked down.
And what shall become of those in the city?
They shall stand for seed. They had gone down too, but that a wise burgher put in for them.
But shall all our houses of resort in the suburbs be pulled down?
To the ground, mistress.
Why, here's a change in the Commonwealth. What shall become of me?
Come, fear you not. Good counselors lack no clients. Though you change your place, you need not change your trade. I'll be your tapster still. Courage, there will be pity taken on you. You that have worn your eyes almost out in the service, you will be considered.
Mistress Overdone? Oh well. What's to do here, Thomas Tapster? Let's withdraw.
Here comes Signor Claudio, led by the provost to prison, and there's Madame Juliet.
So when Pompey the Clown chat says that all the houses are to be pulled down, he means the brothels. There's a new law, all the brothels are going to be pulled down. There's no more fucking in Vienna. It's not allowed. Absolutely not allowed. By anybody. But anyway, in comes the provost and Claudio, who's just been arrested for being horny on main, and Juliet, who was horny on main with him because it takes two to tango, and also Lucio and the rest of the lads. Do we have a Claudio?
Fellow, why dost thou show me thus to the world? Bear me to prison where I am committed.
I do it not in evil disposition, but from Lord Angelo by special charge.
Thus can the demigod authority make us pay down for our offense by weight. The worlds of heaven, on whom it will, on whom it will not so, yet still 'tis just.
Why, how now, Claudio? Whence comes this restraint?
For too much liberty, my Lucio, liberty, as fate in the father as much fast, so every scope by immoderate use turns to restraint. Our natures do pursue, like rats that raven down in the proper vein, our thirsty evil, and when we drink we die.
If I could speak so wisely under an arrest, I would send for certain of my creditors, and yet to say the truth, I had as lief had the foppery of freedom as the morality of imprisonment. What's thy offence, Claudio?
What but to speak of would offend again?
What? Is murder?
No.
Lechery?
Call it so.
Away, sir. You must go.
One word, good friend. Lucia, a word with you.
100 if they'll do you any good. Is lechery so looked after?
Thus stands it with me. Upon a true contract, I got possession of Juliet's bed. You know the lady. She is fast my wife. Save that we do the denunciation lack outward order, this we came not to. Only for propagation of a dower, remaining of the copper of our friends, from whom we thought it meet to hide our love, till time has made them for us. But it chances the stealth of our most mutual entertainment with character too gross is writ on Juliet.
Oh, with child, perhaps.
Unhappily, even so. And the new deputy, now, for the Duke, whether it be for fault of glimpse of newness, or whether the body be public, be a horse whereon the governors doth ride, who, newly in the seat, that it may know, he can command, lets it straight feel to the spur, whether the tyranny be in its place, or in his eminence that fills it up. I stagger in, but this new governor awakes me all in the enrolled penalties, which have, like a scourged armor hung by the wall, so long that the 19 zodiacs have gone round, and none of them have been worn, and, for a name, now puts the drowsy and neglected act freshly on me. 'Tis surely for a name.
I warrant it is, and thy head stands so tickle on thy shoulders that a milkmaid, if she be in love, may sigh it off. Send after the Duke and appeal to him.
I have done so, but he's not to be found. I prithee, Lucio, do me this kind service. This day my sister should be cloister, and there receive her apparition, acquaint her with the danger of my state, implore her in my voice that she make friends to the strict deputy, bid herself assay him, and I have great hope in that, for in her youth there is a prone and a speechless dialect, such as move men. Besides, she has prosperous art, that she will play with reason and discourse, and well she can persuade.
I pray she may, as well for the encouragement of the like, which else would stand under grievous imposition, as for the enjoying of thy life, who I would be sorry should be thus forcibly lost at a game of tic-tac. I'll to her.
I thank you. Good friend Lucia.
Within 2 hours.
Come, officer, away.
And they leave. And then in comes the Duke and Friar Thomas.
No, Holy Father, throw away believe not that the dribbling dart of love can pierce a complete bosom. Why I desire thee to give me a secret harbour hath purpose more grave and wrinkled than the aims and ends of burning youth.
Is there a Friar Thomas? I could be Friar Thomas. He's only in 2 scenes, so I can be him. May your grace speak of it.
My holy sir, none better knows than you how I have ever loved the life removed, and held in idle price to haunt assemblies where youth and cost and witless bravery keeps. I have delivered to Lord Angelo, a man of stricture and firm abstinence, my absolute power and place here in Vienna. and he supposes me travelled to Poland. For so I have stewed it in the common ear, and so it is received. Pious sir, you will demand of me where I do this?
Gladly, my lord.
We have strict statutes and most biting laws. The needless bits and curbs of headstrong weeds, which for this 19 years we have let slip, even in the o'ergrown lion in a cave, that goes not out to prey. Now, as fond fathers, having bound the threatening twigs of birch, only to stick it in their children's sight, for terror not in use in the time of rod, becomes more mocked than feared, so are decrees. Dead to infliction, to themselves are dead, and liberty plucks justice by the nose. The baby beats with the nurse, and quite athwart goes all the decorum.
It rested in your grace to unloose this tied-up justice when you pleased, and it in you more dreadful would have seemed than in Lord Angelo.
I do fear too dreadful. Sif 'twas my fault to give the people scope, 'twould be my tyranny to strike and gall them for what I bid them do, for we bid them to be done. When evil deeds have permissive pass, and not the punishment, therefore indeed my father I have on Angelo imposed the office, who may in the ambush of my name strike home, and yet my nature never in height to do in slander, and to behold his sway I will, as 'twere a brother of your order, visit both prince and people. Therefore I prithee, supply me with the habit, and instruct me how I may formally in person bear me like a true friar. More reasons for this action at your most leisure shall I render you. Only this one. Lord Angelo is precise, stands a guard with envy, scarce confesses that his blood flows, or that his appetite is more to bread than stone. Yet shall we see, if power change purpose, what our seemers be.
So off they go. The Duke has given all of his powers to Angelo, who is Volsel, and Angelo has brought back these old laws which say that nobody can have sex. And meanwhile, the Duke is going to disguise himself as a friar and hide among the people just to see what happens, for apparently no reason at all. And here comes Isabella, who is about to become a nun, and Francisca, who is already a nun.
And have you nuns no further privileges?
Are these not large enough?
Yes, truly, I speak not as a desiring more, but rather wishing a more strict restraint upon the sisterhood, the waterists of St. Clair.
Ho! Peace be in this place!
Who's that which calls?
It is a man's voice, gentle Isabella. Turn you the key and know his business of him. You may, I may not. You are yet unsworn. When you have vowed, you must not speak with men, but in the presence of the prioress. Then, if you speak, you must not show your face. Or if you show your face, you must not speak. He calls again. I pray you, answer him.
Peace and prosperity, who is it that calls?
Hail, virgin, if you be, as those cheek roses proclaim you are no less. Can you so stead me as bring me to the sight of Isabella, a novice of this place, and the fair sister to her unhappy brother Claudio?
Why her unhappy brother? Let me ask, the rather for I now must make you know that I am Isabella and his sister.
Oh, gentle and fair, your brother kindly greets you, not to be weary with you. He's in prison.
Woe me, what for?
For that which, if myself might be his judge, he should receive his punishment in thanks. He hath got his friend with child.
Sir, make me not your story.
'Tis true, I would not, though 'tis my familiar sin with maids to seem the lapwing and to jest, tongue far from heart, play with all virgins so. I hold you as a thing enskied and sainted by your renouncement, an immortal spirit, and to be talked with in sincerity as with a saint.
You do blasphemy in the good in mocking me.
Oh, do not believe it. Fewness and truth, 'tis thus. Your brother and his lover have embraced, as those that feed grow full, as blossoming time that from the seedness the bare fell brings into teeming poison. E'en so her plenteous womb expresseth his full tilth and husbandry.
Someone with child by him? My cousin Juliet.
Oh, is she your cousin?
Adoptedly, as schoolmates change their names by vain though apt affection.
Oh, she it is.
Oh, let him marry her.
Oh, this is the point. The Duke is very strangely gone from hence, bore many gentlemen, myself being one, in hand and hope of action, but we do learn, by those that know the very nerves of state, his given out were of an infinite distance from his true meant design. Upon his place, and with full line of his authority, governs Lord Angelo, a man whose blood is very snow broth, one who never feels the wanton stings and motions of the sense, but doth rebate and blunt his natural edge with profits of the mind, study and fast. He, to give fear to use and liberty, which have for long run by the hideous law as mice by lions, hath picked out an act, under whose heavy sense your brother's life falls into forfeit. He arrests him on it, and follows close the rigour of the statute to make him an example. All hope is gone, unless you have the grace by your fair prayer to soften Angelo, and that's my piff of business twixt you and your poor brother.
Doth he so seek his life?
Has censured him already, and as I hear, the provost hath a warrant for execution.
Alas, what poor abilities in me to do him good?
Say the power that you have.
My power? Alas, I doubt.
Oh, our doubts are traitors, and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. Go to Lord Angelo, and let him learn to know, when maidens sue, men give like gods. When they weep and kneel, all their petitions are as freely theirs as they themselves would owe them.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, but speedily.
I will about it straight, no longer staying but to give the mother notice of my affair. I humbly thank you. Commend me to my brother, soon at night I'll send him certain word of my success.
I take my leave of you.
Good sir, adieu.
Here comes Angelo, Aeschylus, some servants, and a judge. And I said earlier on that I always get Kylo Ren vibes from Angelo, so... We must not make a scarecrow of the law, setting it up to fear the birds of prey, and let it keep one shape till custom make it their perch and not their terror. Aye, but yet let us be keen, and rather cut a little than fall and bruise to death. Alas, this gentleman whom I would save had a most noble father, let but your honour know, whom I believe to be most straight in virtue, that in the working of your own affections had time cohered with place or place with wishing, or that the resolute acting of your blood could have attained the effect of your own purpose, whether you had not some time in your life erred in this point which now you censure him and pull the law upon you. 'Tis one thing to be tempted, Aeschylus, another thing to fall. I not deny the jury passing on the prisoner's life may in the sworn 12 have a thief or two guiltier than him they try. What's open made to justice, that justice seizes. What knows the laws that thieves do pass on thieves? 'Tis very pregnant. The jewel that we find we stoop and take because we see it, but what we do not see we tread upon and never think of it. You may not so extenuate his offence, for I have had such faults, but rather tell me, when I that censure him do so offend, let mine own judgment pattern out my death, and nothing come impartial. Sir, he must die. And then comes a provost. Be it as your wisdom will. Where is the provost?
Here, if it like your honour.
See that Claudio be executed by 9 tomorrow morning. Bring him his confessor, let him be prepared, for that's the utmost of his pilgrimage. Well, heaven forgive him, and forgive us all. Some rise by sin, and some by virtue fall. Some run from breaks of ice, and answer none, and some condemned for a fault alone. So here comes Elbow and some officers of the law with Froth and a clown. Elbow is a pimp, basically. Not in the way that we would know it. But do we have an Elbow?
Come, bring them away if these be good people in the Commonwealth that do nothing but use their abuses in common houses. I know no law, bring them away.
Oh no, sir, what's your name, and what's the matter?
If it please your honour, I am the poor Duke's constable, and my name is Elbow. I do learn upon justice, sir, and do bring in here before your good honour 2 notorious benefactors.
Benefactors? Well, what benefactors are they? Are they not malefactors?
If it please your honour, I know not well what they are, but precise villains they are that I am sure of, and void of all profanation in the world that good Christians ought to have.
Oh, this comes off well. Here's a wise officer. Go to. What quality are they of? Elbow is your name, or dost thou not speak Elbow?
He cannot, sir. He's out at Elbow.
What are you, sir?
He's, sir, a tapster, sir, parcel board, one that serves a bad woman whose house, sir, was, as they say, plucked down in the suburbs, and now she professes a hothouse, which I think is a very ill house, too.
Oh, sorry, I got it wrong. Elbow is a cop. Pompey is a brothel keeper. My bad. How know you that?
My wife, sir, whom I detest before heaven and your honour.
How, thy wife?
I, sir, whom I thank heaven is an honest woman.
Dost thou detest her, therefore?
I say, sir, I will detest myself also, as well as she, that this house, if it be not a bawd's house, it is pity of her life, for it is a naughty house.
How dost thou know that, constable?
Marry, sir, by my wife, who, if she had been a bad woman, cardinally given, might have been accused in fornication, adultery, and all uncleanness there.
By the woman's means?
Aye, sir, by Mistress Overdone's means, but as she spit in his face, so she defied him.
Sir, if it please your honour, this is not so.
Prove it before this varlet's here, thou honourable man, prove it.
Do you hear how he misplaces?
Sir, she came in great with child, and longing, saving your honour's reverence, for stewed prunes. Sir, we had but 2 in the house, which at that very distant time stood, as it were, in a fruit dish, a dish of some 3d. Your honours have seen such dishes. They are not china dishes, but very good dishes.
Go to, no matter for the dish, sir.
No, indeed, sir, not of a pin. You are therein in the right, but to the point. As I say, this Mistress Elbow being, as I say, with child, and being great-bellied and longing, as I said, for prunes, and having but 2 in the dish, as I said, Master Froth here, this very man, having eaten the rest, as I said, and, as I say, paying for them, very honestly, for as you know, Master Froth, I could not give you 3d again.
No, indeed.
Very well, you being then, if you be remembered, cracking the stones of the foresaid prunes.
Aye, so I did indeed.
Why, very well, I telling you then, if you be remembered, that such a one and such a one were past cure of the thing you wot of, unless they kept very good diet, as I told you.
All this is true.
Why, very well then.
Come, you are a tedious fool. To the purpose, what was done to Elbow's wife that he hath cause to complain of? Come me to what was done to her.
Sir, your honour cannot come to that yet.
No, sir, nor I mean it not.
Sir, but you shall come to it by your honour's leave. And I beseech you, look into Master Froth here, sir, a man of 80 pound a year, whose father died at Hallowmas. Wast not at Hallowmas, Master Froth?
All hell and thief.
Why, very well, I hope here be truths. He, sir, sitting, as I say, in a lower chair, sir, 'twas in the bunch of grapes, where indeed you have a delight to sit, have you not?
I have so, because it is an open room and good for winter.
Why, very well, then I hope here be truths.
This will last out a night in Russia when nights are longest there. I'll take my leave, and leave you to the hearing of the cause, hoping you'll find good cause to whip them all. Angelo leaves. I think no less, good morrow to your lordship. Now, sir, come on, what was done to Elbow's wife once more?
Once, sir, there was nothing done to her once.
I beseech you, sir, ask him what this man did to my wife.
I beseech your honour, ask me.
Well, sir, what did this gentleman to her?
I beseech you, sir, look in this gentleman's face. Good Master Froth, look upon his honour, 'tis for a good purpose. Doth your honour mark his face?
Aye, sir, very well.
Nay, I beseech you, mark it well.
Well, I do so.
Doth your honour see any harm in his face?
Why, no.
I'll be supposed upon a book his face is the worst thing about him. Good then, if his face be the worst thing about him, how could Master Froth do the constable's wife any harm? I would know that of your honour.
Yeah, he's in the right, constable. What say you to it?
First, and it like you, the house is a respected house. Next, this is a respected fellow, and his mistress is a respected woman.
By this hand, sir, his wife is a more respected person than any of us all.
Varlet, thou liest, wicked varlet! The time is yet to come that she was ever respected with man, woman, or child.
Sir, she was respected with him before he married her.
Which is the wiser here, justice or iniquity? Is this true?
Oh, thou caitiff, thou varlet! Oh, thou wicked Hannibal! I respected with her before I was married to her. If ever I respected with her, or she with me, let not your worship think me the poor duke's officer. Prove this, thou wicked Hannibal, or I'll have mine action of battery on thee.
If he took you a box of the ear, you might have your action of slander too.
Marry, I thank your good worship for it. What isn't your worship's pleasure, I shall do it with this wicked caitiff.
Truly, officer, because he hath some offences in him that thou wouldst discover if thou couldst, let him continue in his courses till thou knowest what they are.
Marry, I thank your worship for it. Thou seest, thou wicked varlet, now what's come upon thee. Thou art to continue now, thou varlet, thou art to continue.
And where were you born, friend? Vienna, sir. Are you a 80 pounds a year? Yes, and so please you, son. So, what trade are you of, sir?
Tapster. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Tapster, a poor widow's tapster.
Your mistress' name?
Mistress Overdone.
Hath she any more than one husband?
9, sir. Overdone by the last.
9! Come hither to me, Master Froth. Master Froth, I would not have you acquainted with tapsters. They will draw you, Master Froth, and you will hang them. Get you gone, and let me hear of you no more. I thank your worship. For mine own part, I never come into any room in a tap house, but I'm drawn in. Well, no more of it, Master Froth. Farewell. Come you hither to me, Master Tapster. What's your name, Master Tapster?
Pompey.
What else?
Bum, sir.
Troth. And your bum is the greatest thing about you, so that in the beastliest sense you are Pompey the Great. Pompey, you are partly a bawd. Pompey, howsoever you colour it in being a tapster, are you not? Come tell me true, it shall be the better for you.
Truly, sir, I am a poor fellow that would live.
How would you live, Pompey? By being a bawd? What do you think of the trade, Pompey? Is it a lawful trade?
If the law would allow it, sir.
But the law will not allow it, Pompey, nor shall it be allowed in Vienna.
Does your worship mean to geld and splay all the youth of the city?
No, Pompey.
Truly, sir, in my poor opinion, they will toot then. If your worship will take order for the drabs and the knaves, you need not to fear the bawds.
This is pretty orders beginning. I can tell you it is but heading and hanging.
If you head and hang all that offend that way, but for 10 year together, you'll be glad to give out a commission for more heads. If this law hold in Vienna 10 year, I'll rent the fairest house in it after 3 pence a bag. If you live to see this come to pass, say Pompey told you so.
Thank you, good Pompey, and in requital of your prophecy, hark you. I advise you, let me not find you before me again on any complaint whatsoever. No, not for dwelling where you do. If I do, Pompey, I shall beat you to your tent and prove a shrewd Caesar to you. In plain dealing, Pompey, I shall have you whipped. So for this time, Pompey, fare you well.
I thank your worship for your good counsel, but I shall follow it as the flesh and fortune shall better determine. Whip me? No, no. Let Carman whip his jade. The valiant heart is not whipped out of his trade.
Come hither to me, Master Elbow. Come hither, Master Constable. How long have you been in this place of constable?
7 years and a half, sir.
I thought by the readiness in the office you had continued it in some time. You say 7 years together.
And a half, sir.
Alas, it hath been great pains to you. They do you wrong to put you so oft upon't. Are there not men in your ward sufficient to serve it?
Faith, sir, few of any wit in such matters, as they are chosen, they are glad to choose me for them. I do it for some piece of money, and go through with all.
Look, you bring me in the names of some 6 or 7, the most sufficient of your parish.
To your worship's house, sir?
To my house. Fare you well. What's o'clock, think you?
11, sir.
I pray you home to dinner with me.
I humbly thank you.
It grieves me for the death of Claudio, but there's no remedy.
Lord Angelo is severe.
It is but needful. Mercy is not itself that oft looks so. Pardon is still the nurse of second woe. But yet, poor Claudio, there is no remedy. Come, sir. And off they go. And in comes a provost and a servant.
He's hearing of course. He will come straight. I'll tell him of you.
Pray you do. I'll know his pleasure. Maybe he will relent. Alas, he hath but as offended in a dream. All sects, all ages smack of this vice, and he to die for it?
Here comes Angelo. Dun, 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 dun. Now what's the matter, Provost?
Is it your will Claudio shall die tomorrow?
Did I not tell thee yea? Hadst thou not order? Why dost thou ask again?
Lest I might be too rash, under your good correction I have seen, when after execution judgment hath repented o'er his doom.
Go to, let that be mine. Do you your office, or give up your place, and you shall well be spared.
I crave your honour's pardon. What shall be done, sir, with the groaning Juliet? She's very near her hour.
Dispose of her to some more fitter place, and that with speed.
Here is the sister of the man condemned, desires access to you.
Hath he a sister?
Aye, my good lord, a very virtuous maid, and to be shortly of a sisterhood, if not already.
Well, let her be admitted. See you the fornicatress be removed. Let her have needful, but not lavish means. There shall be order for it. And in comes Lucio and Isabella.
God save your honor.
Stay a little while. You're welcome. What's your will?
I am a woeful suitor to your honor. Please, but your honor, hear me.
Well, what's your suit?
There is a vice that I most do abhor, and that most desire should meet the blow of justice, for which I would not plead, but that I must, for which I must not plead, but that I am, at war twixt will and will not.
Well, the matter?
I have a brother is condemned to die. I do beseech you, let it be his fault, and not my brother.
Heaven give thee moving graces.
Condemn the fault and not the actor of it. Why, every fault's condemned ere it be done. Mine were the very cipher of a function to find the faults whose fine stands in record and let go by the actor.
Oh, just but severe law, I had a brother then, heaven keep your honour.
Oh, give not o'er so. To him again, entreat him, kneel down before him. Hang upon his gown, you are too cold. If he should need a pin, you could not come with more tamer tongue desire it. To him, I say.
Must he needs die?
Maiden, no remedy.
Yes, I do think that you might pardon him, and neither heaven nor man grieve at mercy.
I will not do it.
But can you, if you would?
Look what I will not, that I cannot do.
But might you do it, and do the world no wrong, if your heart if so your heart were touched with that remorse as mine is to him?
He's sentenced, 'tis too late. You are too cold.
Too late? Why, no, I that do speak a word may call it back again. Well, believe this, no ceremony that to great ones longs, not the king's crown, nor the disputed sword, the marshal's truncheon, nor the judge's robe, become them with one half of so good a grace as mercy does. If he had been as you, and you as he, you would have slipped like him, but he like you would not have been so stern.
Pray you, be gone.
I would to heaven I had your potency, and you were Isabel. Should it then be thus? No, I would tell what 'twere to be a judge, and what a prisoner.
Aye, touch him, there's the vein. Your brother is a forfeit of the law, and you but waste your words.
Alas, alas, why all the souls that were forfeit once, and he that might the vantage have best took found out the remedy. How would you be if he, which is the top of judgment, should but judge you as you are? Oh, think on that, and then mercy will breathe within your lips, like a man new made.
Be you content, fair maid. It is the law, not I, condemn your brother. Were he my kinsman, brother, or my son, it should be thus with him. He must die tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, that's sudden. Spare him. He's not prepared to death. Even for our kitchens, we will kill the fowl of the season. Shall we serve heaven with less respect than we do minister to our gross selves? Good, my lord, bethink you. Who is it that hath died for this offence? There is many have committed it.
Aye, well said. The law hath not been dead, though it hath slept. Those many had not dared to do that evil, if the first that did edict infringe had answered for his deed. Now 'tis awake, takes note of what is done, and like a prophet looks in a glass that shows what future evils, either now or by remisses new conceived, and so in progress to be hatched and born, are now to have no successive degrees, but ere they live to end.
Yet show some pity.
I show it most of all when I show justice, for then I pity those I do not know, which a dismissed offence would after gall. And do him right, that answering one foul wrong lives not to act another. Be satisfied, your brother dies tomorrow, be content.
So you must be the first that gives this sentence, and he that suffers. Oh, it is excellent to have a giant's strength, but it is tyrannous to use it like a giant.
That's well said.
Could great men thunder as Jove himself does, Jove would never be quiet. for never pelting petty officer would use his heaven for thunder, nothing but thunder. Merciful heaven, thou rather with thy sharp and superfluous bolts splittest the unwedgeable and gnarled oak than the soft myrtle, but man, proud man, dressed in a little brief authority, but most arrogant of what he's most assured, his glassy essence like an angry ape, plays such fantastic tricks before high heaven, as makes the angels weep, who with our spleens would all themselves laugh mortal.
Oh, to him, wench, he will relent, he's coming, I perceive it.
Pray heaven she win him.
We cannot weigh our brother with ourself. Great men may jest with saints, 'tis wit in them, but in the less foul profanication.
The heart of the right, girl, more of that.
That in the captain's but a choleric word, which in the soldier is flat blasphemy.
Art advised of that, morons. Why do you put these sayings upon me?
Because authority, though it err like others, hath yet a kind medicine in itself, that skins the vice of the top. Go to your bosom, knock there, and ask your heart what it doth know, that like my brother's fault, if it confess a natural guiltiness such as his, let it not sound a thought upon your tongue against my brother's life.
She speaks, and 'tis such sense that my sense breeds with it. Fare you well.
Gentle, my lord, turn back.
I will bethink me. Come again tomorrow.
Hark how, I'll bribe you, my good lord, turn back.
How? Bribe me?
Aye, with such gifts that heaven shall spare with you.
You had marred all else.
Not with fond shekels of the tested gold, stones whose rates are rich or poor as fancy values them, but with true prayers that shall be up at heaven and enter there ere sunrise, prayers from preserved souls, from fasting maids whose minds are delicate to nothing temporal.
Well, come to me tomorrow. Go to, 'tis well, away.
Heaven keep your honour safe.
Amen. For I am that way going to temptation where prayers cross.
At what hour tomorrow shall I attend your lordship?
At any time before noon.
Save your honour.
And they leave. From thee, even from thy virtue. Oh, what's this? What's this? Is this her fault or mine, the tempter or the tempted? Who sins most, huh? Not she, nor doth she tempt, but it is I that lying by the violet in the sun do as the carrion does, not as the flower, corrupt with virtuous season. Can it be that modesty may more betray our sense than woman's lightness? Having waste ground enough, shall we desire to raise the sanctuary and pitch our evils there? Oh, fie, fie, fie! What dost thou, or what art thou, Angelo? Dost thou desire her foully for those things that make her good? Oh, let her brother live! Thieves for their robbery have authority when judges steal themselves. What, do I love her? That I desire to hear her speak again, and feast upon her eyes? Oh, what is thy dream on? A cunning enemy that to catch a saint with saints dost bait thy hook. Most dangerous is that temptation that doth goad us on to sin in loving virtue. Never could the strumpet with all her double vigour, art and nature once stir my temper. But this virtuous maid subdues me quite. Ever till now, when men were fond, I smiled and wondered how. People in the chat are like fire, hellfire. It's a very Frollo moment. Angelo leaves. In comes the Duke, who's disguised as a friar, and the Provost.
Hail to you, Provost. Sorry. Hail to you, Provost. So I think you...
I am the Provost. What's your will, good friar?
Bound by my charity and my blessed order, I come to visit the afflicted spirits here in this prison. Do me the common right, to let me see them and to make me know the nature of their crimes, that I may minister to them accordingly.
I would do more than that if more were needful.
Here comes Juliet. Not
Look,
that Juliet.
here come... Look, here comes one, a gentlewoman of mine, who, falling in the flaws of her own youth, hath blistered her report. She is with child. and he that got it sentenced, a young man more fit to do another such offence than die for this.
When must he die?
As I do think tomorrow. That I have provided for you. Stay a while, and you shall be conducted.
Repent you, fair one, of the sin you carry.
I do, and bear the shame most patiently.
Wherefore art thou, Juliet? I'll teach you how to arraign your conscience and try your penitence, if it be sound or hollowingly put on.
I'll gladly learn.
So, then it seems your most offensive act was mutually committed.
Mutually.
Then was your sin of heavier kind his?
I do confess it, and repent it, father.
'Tis meet so, daughter, but lest you do repent, as that the sin hath brought you to this shame, which sorrow is always towards us, not heaven, showing we would not spare heaven as we love it, but as we stand in fair...
I do repent me as it is an evil, and take the shame with joy.
Ne'er rest. Your partner, as I hear, must die tomorrow, and I am going to be in the instruction to... I'm going with instruction to you. Grace go with you. Benedicite.
Must die tomorrow. O injurious love, that respites me a life whose very comfort is still a dying horror.
'Tis pity of him.
Oh no. And here comes Angelo. When I would pray and think, I think and pray to several subjects. Heaven hath my empty words, whilst my invention, hearing not my tongue, anchors on Isabel. Heaven in my mouth, as if I did but only chew his name, and in my heart the strong and swelling evil of my conception. The state whereon I studied is like a good thing, being often read, grown seared and tedious. Yea, my gravity, wherein let no man hear me, I take pride. Could I with boot change for an idle plume, which the air beats for vain? O place, O form, how often dost thou with thy case, thy habit, wrench ore from fools, and tie the wiser souls to thy false seeming? Blood, thou art blood. Let's write good angel on the devil's horns, 'tis not the devil's crest. How now, who's there? Servant? Is there a servant? Oh, well, anyway, a servant comes in and says, yeah, Isabel's here to see you. Teach her the way. O heavens, why does my blood thus muster to my heart, making both it unable for itself and dispossessing all my other parts of necessary fitness? So play the foolish throngs with one that swoons, come all to help him, and so stop the air by which he should revive, and even so the generals subject to a well-wished king quit their own part, and in obsequious fondness crowd to his presence, where their untaught love must needs appear offence. Here comes Isabella. How now, fair maid?
I am come to know your pleasure.
That you might know it would much better please me than to demand what is. Your brother cannot live.
Even so, heaven keep your honour.
Yet may he live a while, and it may be as long as you or I. Yet he must die.
Under your sentence?
Yea.
When, I beseech you, that in his reprieve, longer or shorter, may he be so fitted, that his soul sicken not.
Fie, these filthy vices! It were as good to pardon him that hath from nature stolen a man already made, as to remit their saucy sweetness that do coin heaven's image in stamps that are forbid. 'Tis all as easy, falsely to take away a life true made, as to put metal in restrained means to make a false one.
'Tis set down so in heaven, but not in earth.
Say you so? Then I shall pose you quickly. Which had you rather, that the most just law now took your brother's life, or to redeem him, give up your body to such sweet uncleanness as she that hath stained?
Sir, believe this, I had rather give my body than my soul.
I talk not of your soul. Our compelled sins stand more for number than for account.
How say you?
Nay, I'll not warrant that, for I can speak against the thing I say. Answer to this. I now, the voice of the recorded law, pronounce a sentence on your brother's life. Might there not be a charity in sin to save this brother's life?
please you to do it, I'll take it as peril to my soul. It is no sin at all, but charity.
Please you to do it at peril of your soul, or equal poise of sin and charity.
That I do beg his life. If it be sin, heaven let me bear it, you granting of my sight. If that be sin, I'll make it my morn prayer to have it added to the faults of mine, and nothing of your answer.
Nay, but hear me, your sense pursues not mine. Either you are ignorant, or seem so crafty, and that's not good.
Let me be ignorant, and in nothing good, but graciously to know I am no better.
Thus wisdom wishes to appear most bright when it doth tax itself, as these black masks proclaim an enshield beauty 10 times louder than beauty could displayed. But mark me, to be received plain, I'll speak more gross. Your brother is to die.
So.
And his offence is so, as it appears, accountant to the law upon that pain.
True.
Admit no other way to save his life, as I subscribe not that nor any other, but in the loss of question, that you, his sister, finding yourself desired of such a person, whose credit with the judge, or own great place, could fetch your brother from the manacles of the all-binding law, and that there were no earthly mean to save him, but that either you must lay down the treasures of your body, to this supposed, or else to let him suffer, what would you do?
As much for my poor brother as myself. That is, were I under the terms of death, the impression of keen whips, I'd bear as rubies, and strip myself to death as to a bed, that longing have been sick, for here I'll yield my body up to shame.
Then must your brother die.
And 'twere the cheaper way. Better it were a brother died at once, than that a sister, by redeeming him, should die forever.
Were not you, then, as cruel as the sentence that you have slandered so?
Ignominy in ransom and free pardon are of two house. Unlawful mercy, nothing kin to foul redemption.
You seemed of late to make the law a tyrant, and rather proved the sliding of your brother a merriment than a vice.
Oh, pardon me, my lord, it oft falls out. To have what we would have, we speak not what we mean. I something do excuse the thing I hate, for his advantage that I did.
We are all frail.
Hello?
Oh, hello. Is
Hi.
everything going okay?
We are all frail.
Else let my brother die, not a Theodari, only he owe and succeed thy weakness.
Nay, women are frail too.
Aye, as the glasses where they view themselves, which are as easy broke as they make forms. Women help heaven, men their creation are in profiting by them. Nay, call us 10 times frail, we are soft as our complexions are, and credulous to false print.
I think it well, and from this testimony of your own sex, since I suppose we are made to be no stronger than faults may shake our frames, let me be bold, I do arrest your words. Be that you are, that is, a woman. If you be more, you're none. If you be one, as you are well expressed by all external warrants, show it now, by putting on the destined livery.
I have no tongue but one, gentle my lord. Let me entreat you, speak the language.
Plainly conceive. I love you.
My brother did love Juliet, and you tell me that he shall die for it.
He shall not, Isabel, if you give me love.
I know your virtue hath a license in it which seems a little fouler than it is to pluck on others.
Believe me, on mine honour my words express my purpose.
Ha! Little honour to be much and most pernicious purpose. Seeming, I will proclaim thee, Angelo, look for it. Give me a sign, present pardon for my brother, or, without an outstretched throat, I'll tell the word aloud. I'll tell the world aloud what a man thou art.
Who will believe thee, Isabel? My unsoiled name, the austereness of my life, my vouch against you, and my place in the state, will so your accusation overweigh that you shall stifle in your own report and smell of calumny. I have begun, and now I give my sensual race the rein. Fit thy consent to my sharp appetite. Lay by all nicety and and prolixous blushes that banish what they sue for. Redeem thy brother by yielding up thy body to my will, or else he must not only die the death, but thy unkindness shall his death draw out to lingering sufferance. Answer me tomorrow, or by the affection that now guides me most, I'll prove a tyrant to him. As for you, say what you can. My false o'erweighs thy true. And I leave.
To whom should I complain? Did I tell this, who would believe me? O perilous mouths that bear them one and the self-same tongue, either of condemnation or reproof, biding the law, make courtesy to their will, hooking both right and wrong to the appetite to follow as it draws. I'll to my brother, though he hath fallen by prompture of the blood, yet hath he in him such a mind of honour, that he had 20 heads to tender down on 20 bloody blocks. He'll yield them up before his sister should on her body stoop, for such abhorrent pollution. Then Isabel lived chaste, and brother die, more than our brother is of chastity. I'll tell him yet of Angelo's request, and fit his mind to death.
Well done. It's not an easy scene, that one.
Very intense.
Well done. So here comes the Duke, disguised, Claudio, and the Provost.
So then, you hope of pardon from Lord Angelo. Oh, it's me. The miserable have no other medicine, but only hope. I've hoped to live, and am prepared to die. Be absolute for death. Either death or life shall reason thus with life. If I do lose thee, I do lose a thing that none but fools would keep. A breath thou art, servile to all that sky influences. Thou dost this habitation, where thou keepest, hourly afflict merely. Thou art death's fool. For him thou labourest thus by thy flight to shun, and yet runnest towards him still. Thou art not noble. For all accommodations that thou bearest, nursed by baseness, thou art by no means valiant, for thou dost fear the soft and tender fork of a poor worm. Thy best of rest is sleep, and that thou oft provokest, and that yet grossly fearest, thy death, which is no more. Thou art not thyself, for thou existest on many 1,000 grains that issue out of dust. Happy thou art not, for what thou hast not, still thou strivest to get, and what thou hast, gettest. Thou art not certain, for thy complexion shifts to strange effects. After the moon, if thou art rich, thou art poor. For like an ass whose back with ingots bows, thou bearest thy heavy riches, but a journey, and death unloads thee. Friend hast thou none, for thine own bowels, which do call thee sire, the mere effusion of thy proper loins, do curse the gout, Serpigio, and rheum. For ending thee no sooner, thou hast no youth nor age, but, as it were, and after dinner's sleep, dreaming on both, for all thy blessed youth becomes as aged, and doth beg the alms of the placid eld. And when thou art old, thou hast neither heat, affection, limb, nor beauty to make thy riches pleasant. What's yet in this that bears name of life? Yet in this life lie hid 1,000 deaths. Yet death we fear makes these odds all even. I humbly thank you. To sue to live, I find die, and seeking death, find life. Let it come on.
Oh, I'm here. Sorry. Got it. What ho! Peace here, grace and good company.
Who's there? Come in. The wish deserves a welcome.
Dear sir, ere long I'll visit you again. Most holy sir, I thank you.
My business is a word or two with Claudio.
And very welcome. Look, Signor, here's your sister.
Provost, a word with you.
As many as you please.
Bring me to hear them speak where I may be concealed. Now, sister, what's the comfort?
Why, as all comforts are, most good indeed. Lord Angelo, having affairs to heaven, intends you for his swift ambassador, where you shall be in everlasting pleasure. Therefore, your best appointment to make with speed tomorrow you set on.
Is there no remedy?
None, but such remedy as to save a head to cleave a heart in twain.
But is there any?
Yes, brother, you may live. There is a devilish mercy in the judge, if you'll implore it, that you will free your life, but fetter till you death.
Perpetual durance.
Aye, just perpetual durance. A restraint, though all the world's vastity you had to a determined scope.
But in what nature?
In such a one as you consenting to it would bark your honour from that trunk you bear and leave you naked.
Let me know the point.
Oh, I do fear thee, Claudio, and I quake lest thou feverous life shouldst entertain, and 6 or 7 winters more respect than a perpetual honour. Darest thou die? The sense of death is most in apprehension, and the poor beetle that we tread upon in sufferance finds a pang as great as when a giant dies.
Why give me this shame? Think you I can a resolution fetch from fiery tenderness? If I die, I will encounter darkness as a bride, and hug it in mine arms.
There spake my brother, there my father's grave did utter voice. Yes, thou must die. Thou art too noble to conserve a life in base appliance. This outward stained deputy, whose settled visage and deliberate word nips youth in head and follies, doth emu as falcon doth the fowl, is yet a devil. His filth within being cast, he would appear a pond as deep as hell.
The Prenzy, Angelo.
Oh, 'tis the cunning livery of hell, the damned body to invest and cover in Prenzy guards. Dost thou think, Claudio, if I would yield him my virginity, thou mightst be freed?
Oh, heavens, it cannot be.
Yes, he would give it thee from his rank offence. So to offend him still, this night's the time that I should do what I abhor to name, or else thou diest tomorrow.
Thou shalt not do't.
Oh, were it but my life, I'll throw down for your deliverance as frankly as a pin.
Thanks, dear Isabella.
Be ready, Claudio, for your death tomorrow.
Yes, he has his affections in him that thus can make him bite the law by the nose when he would force it. Sure, it is no sin, or of deadly 7, it is the least.
Which is the least?
If it were damnable, he being so wise, why would he for the momentary be perpetually fined? Oh, Isabel.
What says my brother?
Death is a fearful thing.
And shamed life a hateful.
Aye. But to die and go we know not where. To lie in cold obstruction and to rot this sensible warm motion to become ad needed God, and the delightful spirit to bathe in thy fiery floods, or to reside in thrilling region of thick-ribbed ice, to be imprisoned in thy viewless winds, and blown with restless violence around about penitent world, or to be worse than worst, or those that lawless and uncertain thought imagine howling, 'tis too horrible, and the weariest and most low-worldly life that age, ache, penury, and imprisonment can lay on nature is a paradise to what we fear of death.
Alas, alas.
Sweet sister, let me live. What sin you do to save your brother's life. Nature dispenses with the deed so far that it becomes a virtue.
Oh, you beast, you faithless coward, oh dishonest wretch, wilt thou be made a man out of my vice? It is not a kind of incest to take life from thine own sister's shame. What would I think? Heaven shield my mother's plaid, my father fair, for such a warped slip of wilderness never issued from his blood. Take my defiance, die, perish. Might but my bending down reprieve thee from thy fate, it should proceed. I'll pray 1,000 prayers for thy death. No word to save thee.
Nay, hear me, Isabel.
Oh, fie, fie, fie! Thy sin's not accidental, but a trade. Mercy to thee would prove itself abhorred. 'Tis best thou diest quickly.
Oh, hear me, Isabel. Vouchsafe a word, young sister, but one word.
What is your will?
Might you dispense with your leisure? I would by and by have some review. The satisfaction I would require is likewise your own benefit.
I have no superfluous leisure. My stay must be stolen out of other affairs, but I will tend you a while.
Son, I have overheard what hath passed between you and your sister. Angelo had never the purpose to corrupt her. Only he hath made with an essay of her virtue to practice his judgment, and with a disposition of natures. She, having the truth of honour in her, hath made him the gracious denial which he is most glad to receive. I am confessor to Angelo, and I know this to be true. Therefore prepare yourself to death. Do not satisfy your resolution with hopes that are fallible. Tomorrow you must die. Go to your knees and make ready. Let ask my sister pardon. I am so out of love and life that I will sue to be rid of it. Hold you there. Farewell. Exit Claudio. Provost, a word with you.
What's your will, father?
That now you are come, you will be gone. Leave me a while with the maid. My mind promises with habit no loss shall touch her in my company.
In good time.
The hand that hath made you fair hath made you good. The goodness that is cheap in beauty makes beauty brief in goodness, but grace, being the soul of your complexion, shall keep the body of it ever fair. The assault that Angelo hath made to you, fortune hath conveyed to my understanding, and but that frailty hath examples for his failing. I should wonder at Angelo, how will you to content this substitute, and to save your brother?
I am now going to resolve him. I had rather my brother die by the law than my son should be on life. But oh, how much is the good Duke deceived in Angelo! If ever he return, and I can speak to him, I will open my lips in vain or discover his government.
That shall not be much amiss. Yet as the matter now stands, he will avoid your accusation. He made trial of you. Therefore fasten your ear on my advisings. To the love I have in doing good and remedy presents itself, I do make myself believe that you may most uprighteously do a poor wronged lady a merited benefit. redeemed your brother from the angry law. Do no stain to your own gracious person, and much please the absent Duke, if peradventure he shall ever return to having hearing of this business.
Let me hear you speak further. I have spirit to do anything that happens, not in foul, in truth of my spirit.
Virtue is bold, and goodness never fearful. Have you not heard speak of Mariana, the sister of Frederick and great soldier who miscarried at sea?
I have heard of the lady, and good words went with her name.
She should this Angelo have married, was affianced to her by oath, and the nuptial appointed, between which time of the contract and limit of the solemnity her brother Frederick was wrecked at sea, having in that perished vessel a dowry of his sister, but mark how heavily this befell to the poor gentle woman. There she lost a noble, renowned brother. In this love towards her, ever most kind and natural, with him the portion of sinew of her fortune, her marriage dowry with both, her combinate husband, this well-seeming Angelo.
Can this... Okay.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, sure.
Can this be so? Did Angelo so leave her?
Left her in the tears and dried not one of them, and the comfort swallowed his vows whole, pretending that in discoveries of dishonour, in few bestowed upon her own lamentation, which she yet wears with his sake, and he, a marble of her tears, is washed with them, but relents not.
What a merit were it in death to take this maid from the world? What corruption in this life that it will let this man live? But how out of this can she avail?
It is a rupture that you may easily heal, and the cure is not that only saves your brother, but keeps you from dishonour in doing it.
Show me how, good father.
This forementioned maid have yet in her conscience and her first affection his unjust unkindness, that in all reason should have quenched her love, hath in like an impetuance in the current made it more violent and unruly. Go you to Angelo, answer this requiring with the plausible obedience, agree to his demands to the point, only refer yourself to his advantage first, and then that your stay may not be so long, that the time may have all shadow. This being granted in, of course, and now follows all, we shall advise this wronged maid to stead up your appointment, go in your place, if the encounter acknowledge itself hereafter, it may compel him to her recompense. And here by this is your brother saved, your honour untainted, the poor Mariana advantaged, and the corrupt deputy scaled. And the maid will I frame and make fit for this attempt, if you think well to carry this as you may. The doubleness of the benefit defends the deficit from proof. What think you of it?
This image gives me content already, and I trust it will grow to a most prosperous perfection.
It lies much in your holding up. Haste you speedily to Angelo, for if this night he entreat you to his bed, give him promise of satisfaction. I will presently to St. Luke's there, and at the moated grange reside this dejected Marina. At that place call upon me, and dispatch to Angelo, that it may be quickly.
I thank you for this comfort. Fare you well, good father.
Elbow?
And away goes Isabella, and in comes Elbow and the officers, along with Pompey the clown.
Nay, if there be no remedy for it, but that you will needs buy and sell men and women like beasts, we shall have all the world drink brown and white bastard.
Oh heavens, what stuff is here?
'Twas never merry world since of two usuries. The merriest was put down, and the worse are allowed by order of law a furred gown to keep him warm, and furred with fox and lambskins too, to signify that craft, being richer than innocency, stands for the facing.
Come your way, sir. Bless you, good Father Friar.
And you, good brother father. What offence hath this man made you, sir?
Marry, sir, he hath offended the law, and, sir, we take him to be a thief too, sir. For we have found upon him, sir, a strange picklock which we have sent to the deputy.
Fair sir, born, a wicked born, the evil that hast caused me to be done, that thy means to live. Do thou but think what 'tis to cram the more or the clove of the back from such a filthy vice. Say to thyself, from their abominable and beastly touches I drink, I eat, array myself, and live. Canst thou believe thy living is life, so stinkingly dependent? Go, mend, go mend!
Indeed, it does stink in some sort, sir. But yet, sir, I would prove...
Nay, if the devil have given thee proofs for sin, thou wilt prove this. Take him to prison, officer. Correction and insurrection must both work ere this rude beast will profit.
He must before the deputy, sir. He has given him warning. The deputy cannot abide a whoremaster. If he be a whoremonger, it comes before him, he were as good go a mile on his errand.
That we were all, as some would seem to be, from slaves, seeming free.
His neck will come to your waist. Accord, sir.
I spy comfort. I cry bail. Here's a gentleman and a friend of mine.
How now, noble Pompey? What, at the wheels of Caesar? Art thou led in triumph? What, is there none of Pygmalion's images, newly made woman, to be had now for putting the hand in the pocket and extracting clutched? What reply, huh? What sayest thou to this tune, matter and method? It's not drowned in the last rain, huh? What sayest thou, Trot? Is the world as it was, man? Which is the way? Is it sad and few words, or how? The trick of it?
Oh, sorry. Still thus, still worse.
How doth my dear morsel thy mistress? Procures she still, eh?
Troth, sir, she hath eaten up all her beef, and she is herself in the tub.
Why, 'tis good, it is the right of it must be so. Ever your fresh whore and your powdered board, and unshunned consequence, it must be so. Art going to prison, Pompey?
Yes, faith, sir.
Why, 'tis not amiss, Pompey. Farewell, go. Say I sent thee thither for debt, Pompey, or how?
For being a bawd.
Well, then, imprison him. If imprisonment be the due of a bawd, why, 'tis his right. Bawd he is, doubtless, and of antiquity too. Bawd born. Farewell, good Pompey. Commend me to the prison. Pompey, you will turn good husband now. Pompey, you will keep the house.
I hope, sir, your good worship will be my bail.
No, indeed, I will not, Pompey. It is not the way. I will pray, Pompey, to increase your bondage, if you take it not patiently, while your metal is the more. Adieu, trusty Pompey. Bless you, friar.
And you?
Does Bridget paint still, Pompey, eh?
Come your way, sir. Come.
You will not bail me then, sir?
Then, Pompey, nor now. What news abroad, friar? What news?
Come your way, sir. Come.
Go to, Kennel Pompey, go. They drag Pompey away to prison. What news, friar, of the Duke?
I know none. Can you tell me of any?
Some say he's with the Emperor of Russia. Others some he's in Rome, but where is he, think you?
I know not where, but wherever soever, I wish him well.
It was a mad, fantastical trick of him to steal from the state and usurp the beggary he was never born to. Lord Angelo dukes it well in his absence. He puts transgression to it.
He does well in it.
A little more leniency to lechery would do no harm in him. Something too crabbed that way, friar.
It is too general a vice, and severity must cure it.
Yes, in good sooth, the vice is of great kindred. It is well allied, but it is impossible to extirpate quite, friar, till eating and drinking be put down. They say this Angelo was not made by man and woman after this downright way of creation. Is it true, think you?
How should he be made, then?
Some report a sea maid spawned him. Some that he was begot between two stockfishers. But it is certain that when he makes his water, his urine is congealed ice. That I know to be true. And he is a motion generative. That's infallible.
You are pleasant, sir, and speak apace.
Why, what a ruthless thing it is in him. For the rebellion of a codpiece to take away the life of a man. Would the Duke that is absent have done this? Ere he would have hanged a man for getting 100 bastards, he would have paid for the nursing 1,000. He had some feeling of the sport. He knew the service, and that instructed him to mercy.
I never heard an absent Duke which much detected for women. He was not inclined that way.
Oh, sir, you are deceived.
'Tis not possible.
Who, not the Duke? Yes, you beggar of 50. And his use was to put a ducat in a clack dish. The Duke had crotchets in him. He would be drunk too, let that me inform you.
You do him wrong, surely.
Sir, I was an inward of his. A shy fellow was the Duke, and I do believe I know the cause of his withdrawing.
What I prithee might be the cause.
No, pardon, 'tis a secret must be locked within the teeth and the lips. But this I can let you understand. The greater file of the subject held the Duke to be wise.
Wise? Why, no question but he was.
Yeah, a very superficial, ignorant, unweighing fellow.
Either this is the envy in you, or mistaking. The very stream of his life, business he hath helmed, must upon the warranted need give him a better proclamation. Let him be but testimonied in his own bringings forth, and he shall appear to the envious scholar, a statesman, and a soldier. Therefore you speak unskilfully, or if your knowledge be more than it was darkened in your malice.
Sir, I know him, and I love him.
Love talks with better knowledge, and knowledge with dearer love.
Come, sir, I know what I know.
I can hardly believe that, since you know not what you speak. But if ever the Duke return, as our prayers he may, let be my desire to make your answer before. If it be honest you have spoke, you have courage to maintain it, I am bound to call upon you, and I pray you your name.
Sir, my name is Lucio, well known to the Duke.
He shall know you better, sir, if I may live to report you.
I fear you not.
Oh, you hope the Duke will return no more, or you imagine me too unhurtful and opposite. But indeed, I can do you little harm. You'll forswear this again.
I'll be hanged first. Thou art deceived in me, friar, but no more of this. Canst thou tell if Claudio die tomorrow or no?
Why should he die, sir?
Why? For filling a bottle with a tundish. I would the Duke were talk of were returned again. I would the Duke we talk of were returned again. This ungenited agent will unpeople the province with continency. Sparrows must not build in his house eaves because they are lecherous. The Duke yet would have dark deeds darkly answered. He would never bring them to light. Would he were returned. Marry, this Claudio is condemned for untrussing. Farewell, good friar. I prithee pray for me. The Duke, I say to thee again, would eat mutton on Fridays. He's now past it yet, and I say to thee, he would mouth with a beggar, though she smelt brown bread and garlic. Say that I said so. Farewell.
No, might nor greatness immortality can ensure escape. Back-wounding calamity, the whitest virtue strikes. What king so strong can tie the gall of a slanderous tongue? Oh, but who comes here?
Enter Aeschylus with the provost, with some cops, and with the board, Mistress Overdone. Go, away with her to prison.
Good, my lord. Be good to me. Your honor is accounted a merciful man. Good, my lord.
Double and treble admonition, and still forfeit in the same kind. This would make mercy swear and play the tyrant.
A bawd of 11 years' continuance, may it please your honor.
My lord, this is one of Lucio's information against me. Mistress Kate Keepdown was with child by him in the Duke's time. He promised her marriage. His child is 1.25 years old. Come Philip and Jacob. I have kept it myself, and see how he goes about to abuse me.
That fellow is a fellow of much license. Let him be called before us. Away with her to prison. Go to, no more words. And then they take her away. Provost, my brother Angelo will not be altered. Claudio must die tomorrow. Let him be furnished with divines, and have all charitable preparation. If my brother wrought by my pity, it should not be so with him.
So please you, this friar hath been with him, and advised him for the entertainment of death.
Good even.
Good even. Oh, bliss and goodness to you.
Of whence are you?
Not of this country, though my chance is now to use it for my time. I am a brother of a gracious order, late come from the sea, in special business from His Holiness.
Oh, what news abroad of the world?
None. But that there are so great a fever on goodness, that the dissolution of it might cure it. Novelty is only in request, and it is as dangerous to be aged in any kind of course, as it is virtuous to be constant in any undertaking. There is scarce truth enough to be society secure, but security enough to make fellowships accursed. Much upon this riddle runs the wisdom of the world. This news is old enough, yet it is every day's news. I pray you, sir, what Of what disposition was the Duke?
One that, above all other strifes, contended especially to know himself.
What pleasure has he given to you?
Rather rejoicing to see another merry than merry at anything which professed to make him rejoice. A gentleman of all temperance. But leave we him to his events, with a prayer they may prove prosperous, and let me desire to know how you find Claudio prepared. I am made to understand that you've lent him visitation.
He professes to have received no sinister measure from God, but most willingly humbles himself to the termination of justice. Yet had he feigned to himself, by the instruction of his frailty, many deceiving promises of life, which I, my good leisure, have discredited to him, and now is he resolved to die.
You have paid the heavens for your function, and the prisoner is the very debt of your calling. I have laboured for the poor gentleman to the extremest shore of my modesty, but my brother justice have I found so severe that he hath forced me not to tell him he is indeed justice.
If his own life answers his pursuit, it shall become him well, wherein if he had a chance to fail, he hath sentenced himself.
I am going to visit the prisoner. Fare you well.
Peace be with you. He who the sword of heaven he who the seven of heaven will bear, should be as holy as severe, pattern in himself to know, grace to stand and virtue go, more nor less of others paying than by self-offences weighing, shame to him of cruel striking, kills for the faults of his own liking twice, treble shame on Angelo, to weed my vice and let his grow. Oh, but what man within him hide, though angel at the outward side? How my likeness made in times, making practice on the times, to draw with idle spiders strings, most ponderous and substantial things, craft against vice I must apply. With Angelo tonight shall lie. He is all betrothalled, but despised, so disguised shall by those disguised pay with falsehood false extracting, and perform an old contracting.
And so the Duke goes. And there, I think we'll take a 5-minute interval before we go on to Act 4, Scene 1. So yeah, if you've just joined us, which it seems like quite a few people have, we're reading the complete works of Shakespeare to raise money for the Samaritans. They help people in emotional distress. They're a charity that help people in emotional distress. They have a suicide hotline, which saved my life a while ago and saves lives every day. We have now raised over $40,000. We are at 40,624. We are very, very close to 42069, which, as we all know, is the meme number. And we've been going less than 24 hours. We've been going for 23 hours and 7 minutes, of which I have slept about 2. So 4 apparently. I'm being reminded. So we'll take 5 minutes for a cup of tea and a wee. We'll come back. We'll speed through Act 4 and 5, and then hopefully sometime between 7 and 8 we want to start doing a Midsummer Night's Dream, and we have some very special guests hopefully lined up for that. So we will see you shortly. Please keep donating. Please keep sharing the stream. It's for a wonderful cause, and we'll see you in 5 minutes after the interval. Hello. We are back with the second half of Measure for Measure, aka All's Well That Incels. Angelo, he's our villain. He's an incel. He's gonna. He's brought back a law that says nobody in Vienna is allowed to be horny or have sex, and he's condemned Claudio to death for having sex. And he said if his sister has sex with him, then he'll let her go. Meanwhile, the former Duke has decided that he's going to put a bit of a sneaky on Angelo. They're going to do a body swap. They're going to in secret make Angelo have sex with his ex-girlfriend without knowing it, because Shakespeare was very progressive and not at all weird. So that's where we're at. And we're raising money for the Samaritans, and we have raised over $40,000 already. So. Why don't we crack right on? So here comes Mariana, who is Angelo, the villain. It's his ex, and a boy who is singing. So who do we have for that?
Hello. Take those lips away that so sweetly were forsworn, and those eyes the break of daylights that do but mislead the morn. But my kisses bring again, seals of love, but sealed in vain.
Break off thy song, and haste thee quick away. Here comes a man of comfort, whose advice hath often stilled my brawling discontent. I cry you mercy, sir, and well could wish you had not found me here so musical. Let me excuse me, and believe me so, my mirth it much displeased, but pleased my woe.
'Tis good, though music of half such a charm make bad good, but good provoke to harm. I pray you tell me, have anybody inquired for me here today? For upon the time as we promised here to meet.
You have not been inquired after. I have sat here all day.
I do constantly believe you. The time is come even now. I shall crave your forbearance a little. May be that we call upon you anon for some advantage to your...
I am always bound to you.
Very well met. And welcome. What is the news for this good deputy?
He hath a garden circummed with brick, whose western side is with a vineyard backed, and to that vineyard is a planched gate that makes this his opening with this bigger key. This doth command a little door, which from the vineyard to the garden leads. Here I have made my promise, upon the heavy middle of the night to call upon him.
But shall you on your knowledge find this way?
I have taken a due and wary note upon it, with whispering and most guilty diligence. In action all of percept did he show me the way twice over.
Are there no other tokens between you agreed concerning her observance?
No, none, but only a repair in the dark, and I have possessed him my most stay can be but brief, for I have made him know I have a servant comes with me along, that stays upon me, whose persuasion is I come about my brother.
'Tis well borne up. I have not yet made known a word of this. Oh, what ho within come forth. I pray you, be acquaintanced with this maid. She comes to do you good.
I do desire the like.
Do you persuade yourself that I respect you?
Good friar, I know you do, and have found it.
Take then this your companion by the hand. With half the story ready here, I shall attend your leisure, and make but haste. The vaporous night approaches.
Will't please you walk aside?
Oh, place and greatness, millions of false eyes are struck upon. Volumes of report run with these false and conspurious guests. Upon thy doings, thousands escapes of wit make thee thy father of thy idle dreams, and rack thee thy fancies. Welcome. How agreed?
She'll take the enterprise upon her, father, if you advise it.
It is not my consent, but my entreaty too.
Little have you to say when you depart from him, but soft and low, remember now my brother.
Fear me not.
Nor, gentle daughter, fear you not at all. He is your husband, and a pre-contract. To bring you thus together, 'tis no sin. Sitteth the justice of your title to him, doth flourished by deceit. Come, let us go. Our corns are reap, for yet the thieves to sow.
And so they go as they put their sneaky plan in action. And here comes the provost and Pompey the clown, who's been arrested for being a pimp, basically.
And I'm both of those, so I guess I'll take both.
Would you like me to be one of them?
I think the provost, I guess.
Yeah, sure, I can be the provost.
Thanks.
Come hither, sirrah. Can you cut off a man's head?
If the man be a bachelor, sir, I can. But if he be a married man, he's his wife's head, and I can never cut off a woman's head.
Come, sir, leave me your snatches and yield me a direct answer. Tomorrow morning ought to die Claudio and Barnardine. Here is in our prison a common executioner who in his office lacks a helper. If you will take it on you to assist him, it shall redeem you from your gyves. If not, you shall have your full time of imprisonment and your deliverance with an unpitied whipping, for you have been a notorious bawd.
Sir, I have been an unlawful bawd, time out of mind, but yet I will be content to be a lawful hangman. I would be glad to receive some instruction from my fellow partner.
What ho? Aberson? Where's Aberson there?
Dear course, sir.
Sirrah, here's a fellow will help you tomorrow in your execution. If you think it meet, compound with him by the year, and let him abide here with you. If not, use him for the present and dismiss him. He cannot plead his estimation with you, he hath been abhorred.
Abroad, sir. Fire upon him. He will discredit our mystery.
Go to, sir. You weigh equally. A feather will turn the scale.
Pray, sir, by your good favour, for surely, sir, a good favour you have, but that you have a hanging look. Do you call it, sir, your occupation a mystery?
Aye, sir, a mystery.
Painting, sir, I have heard, is a mystery, and your whores, sir, being members of my occupation, using painting, do prove my occupation a mystery. But what mystery there should be in hanging if I should be hanged, I cannot imagine.
Sir, it is a mystery.
Proof?
Every true man's apparel fits your feet. If it be too little of thy feet, your true man thinks it big enough. If it be big enough for your feet thinks you little enough. So every true man's apparel fits your feet.
Are you agreed?
Sir, I will serve him, for I do find your hangman is a more penitent trade than your bawd. He doth oftener ask forgiveness.
You, sirrah, provide your block and your axe tomorrow. 4 o'clock.
Come on board. I will instruct thee to my trade. Follow.
I do desire to learn, sir, and I hope if you have occasion to use me for your own turn, you shall find me yere. For truly, sir, for your kindness I owe you a good turn.
Call hither Barnardine and Claudio. The one has my pity, not a jot the other, being a murderer, though he were my brother. Oh, look, here's the warrant, Claudio, for thy death. 'Tis now midnight, and by ere tomorrow thou must be made immortal. Where's Barnardine?
As fast locked up in sleep as guilt as labour. Wear it starkly in the traveller's bones, he will not wake.
Who can do good on him? Well, go prepare yourself. Oh, but hark, what noise? Heaven give your spirits comfort. By and by, I hope it is some pardon or reprieve for the most gentle Claudio. Here comes the Duke. He's still disguised as a friar. Oh, welcome, father.
The best and most wholesome spirits of the night envelop you, good provost. What call here of late?
None since the curfew rung.
Not Isabella?
No.
They will then, not be long.
Oh, what comfort is for Claudio?
There's some in hope.
It is a bitter deputy.
Not so, not so. His life is perilous, even with the stroke and line of great justice. He doth with holy abstinence subdue that in himself which he spurs on his power to qualify in others. Were he milded with that which he corrects, then were he tyrannous, but this being so, he's just. Now they come.
So I leave.
This is a gentle provost. Seldom when the stealer's gowler is his friend of men. How now? What noise? The spirit's possessed with haste that wounds an unsisting postum with these strokes.
I come in again. They must stay until the officer arrives to let him in. He's called up.
Have you no countermate for Claudio yet? But he must die tomorrow.
None, sir, none.
As near the dawning, provost, as it is, you shall hear more ere the...
Happily, you something know, yet I believe there comes no countermand, no such example have we. Besides, upon the very siege of justice, Lord Angelo hath to the public ear professed the contrary. Oh, this is his lordship's man.
And here comes Claudio's pardon.
My lord hath sent you this note, and by me this further charge that you swerve not from the smallest article of it, neither in time, matter, or other circumstance. Good morrow, for us I take it is almost day.
Well, shall it be him?
This is his pardon, purchased by such sin, for when the pardoner comes himself is in, hence have offence its quickly serity, which was born on high authority, when the vice makes mercy so extended, that for the false love of the offender friended. Now, sir, what news?
I told you, Lord Angelo be like thinking me remiss in mine office, awakens me with this unwonted putting on, methinks strangely, for he hath not used it before.
Pray you, let's hear.
Whatsoever you may hear to the contrary, let Claudio be executed by 4 o'clock and in the afternoon Barnardine. For my better satisfaction, let me have Claudio's head sent me by 5. Let this be duly performed with the thought that more depends on it than we must yet deliver. Thus fail not to do your office, as you will answer it at your peril. What say you to this, sir?
What is that Barnardine who is to be executed in the afternoon?
Bohemian born, but here nursed up and bred, and one that is a prisoner 9 years old.
How came it that such an absent duke had not either delivered him to his liberty or... I have heard it is ever his manner to do so.
Oh, his friends still wrote reprieves for him, and indeed his fact till now in the government of Lord Angelo came not an undoubtful proof.
It is now apparent.
Most manifest, and not denied by himself.
Hath he borne himself penitently in prison? How seems he to be touched?
A man that apprehends death no more dreadfully but as a drunken sleep, careless, reckless, and fearless of what's past, present, or to come, insensible of mortality, and desperately mortal.
He wants advice.
No, he will hear none. He hath evermore had the liberty of the prison. Give him leave to escape hence, he would not. Drunk many times a day, if not many days entirely drunk. We very oft awaked him, as if to carry him to execution, and showed him a seeming warrant for it. It hath not moved him at all.
More of him anon. There is written on your brow honesty and constancy. If I read it not truly, my ancient skill beguiles me, but in the boldness of my cunning, I will lay myself in hazard, Claudio, whom here you have warrant to execute. Is no greater forfeit to the law than Angelo, who have sentenced him, to make you understand that it is in his manifest effect I crave but 4 days' respite, for the which you are about to do me both in present and a dangerous courtesy.
Pray, sir, in what?
In the delaying death.
Alack, how may I do it, having the hour limited and an express command under penalty to deliver his head in the view of Angelo? I may make my case as Claudio's to cross this in the smallest.
By the vow of mine order I warrant you, if my instructions may be your guide, let this Barnardine be morning executed, and his head borne to Angelo.
Angelo hath seen them both, and will discover the favour.
Oh, death's a great disguiser, and you may add to it, shave the head, and tie the beard, and say that it was desired of pertinence so that he be barred before his death. You know that this course is common, if anything fall upon you with this more than the thanks and good fortune by the saint who I profess, I will plead against it with my life.
Pardon me, good father, it is against my oath.
Were you sworn to the Duke, or to the deputy?
To him and his substitutes.
You will think you will have made no offence, if the Dukes avouch the justice of your dealing.
But what likelihood is in that?
Not a resemblance, but a certainty. Yet, since I see you fearful, that neither my coat, integrity, nor persuasion can ease to tempt you, I will go further than I meant, to pluck all fears out of you. Look you, sir, here this hand and seal of the Duke. You know the character, I doubt not, and the signet is not strange to you.
I know them both.
The contents of this, in the return of the Duke, you shall anon here overread your pleasure, where you shall find within these 2 days he will be here. This is the thing that Angelo knows not. For he this very day received letters of a strange tenor. Look, the unfolding stars called upon his shepherd, but not yourself in amazement how these things should be. All difficulties are but easy when they are known. Call your executioner, and off with Barnardine's head. I will give him a present shift, and your advice will be better place. Yet you are amazed, but this shall absolutely resolve you. Come away, it is almost clear door.
And so they go, and have a plan to execute the wrong man and swap out the heads in order to cheat death for Claudio. But here comes the clown Pompey, who's now being trained as an executioner.
I'm as well acquainted here as I were in our house of profession. One would think it were Mistress Overdone's own house, for here be many of her old customers. First here's young Mr. Rash. He's in for a commodity of brown paper and old ginger, £9 £17, of which he made 5 marks, ready money. Marry, then ginger was not much in request, for the old women were all dead. Then is there here one Master Caper at the suit of Master Three-Pile the Mercer, for some 4 suits of peach-colored satin, which now peaches him a beggar. Then have we here young Dizzy, and young Master Deepvow, and Master Copspur, and Master Starvelackey, the rapier and dagger man, and young Drop Air, that killed Lusty Pudding, and Master Forthlight, the tilter, and brave Master Shudi, the great traveler, and Wild Halfcan, that stabbed Potts, and I think 40 more. All great doers in our trade, and are now for the Lord's sake.
Sir, bring your Barnardine hither.
Master Barnardine, you must rise and be hanged. Master Barnardine?
What? Oh, Barnardine? Barnardine?
I'll be Barnardine. Apparently, he's listed as a pirate in the original, so...
A pox of your throats! Who makes that noise there? What are ye?
Your friend, sir, the hangman. You must be so good, sir, to rise and be put to death.
Away, you rogue, away, I'm sleepy.
Telling me must be awake, and quickly too.
Pray, Master Barnardine, awake till you are executed, and sleep afterwards.
Go into him, and fetch him out.
He's coming, sir, he's coming. I hear his straw rustle.
Is the axe upon the block, sir?
Very ready, sir.
How now, Abor son? What's the news with ye?
Truly, sir, I would desire to you to clap in your prayers. Look, you, the warrant's come.
Ye rogue, I've been drinking all night. I'm not fitted for it.
Oh, the better, sir, for he that drinks all night and is hanged betimes in the morning may sleep the sounder all the next day.
Oh, look at you, sir. Here comes with your ghostly father. Do you know the gesture? Think you. Sir, induced by my clarity and hearing how hastily you are to depart, I am come to advise you, comfort you, and pray with you.
Friar, not I. I've been drinking hard all night, and I will have more time to prepare me, or they shall beat out my brains with billets. I will not consent to die this day, that's certain.
Oh, sir, you must, and therefore I beseech you, journey you shall go.
I swear I will not die today for any man's persuasion.
But here you...
Not a word! If you have anything to say to me, come to my ward, for thence I will not today. And so he leaves.
Unfit to live or die, oh gravel! After him, fellows, bring him.
And here comes the provost. Now, sir, how do you find the prisoner?
Creature unprepared, unmeet for death, and to transport him in the mind he is, were damnable.
Here in the prison, father, there died this morning of a cruel fever one Ragazine, a most notorious pirate. Actually, thinking on it, maybe his was the pirate, and I don't know why we just had another pirate in here now. But there's a lot of pirates around. In any case, he's a man of Claudio's years, his beard and head just of his colour. What if we do omit this reprobate till he were well inclined, and satisfy the deputy with the visage of Ragazine, more like to Claudio?
Oh, 'tis an accident that heaven provides. Dispatch it presently. The hour draws on, prefixed by Angelo. See that this is done, and sent according to the demand. Sway this rude wretch willingly to die.
This shall be good father, presently. But Barnardine must die this afternoon, and how shall we continue Claudio to save me from the danger that might come if he were known alive?
Let this be done. Put them in secret holds, both Barnardine and Claudio. Ere twice to the sun hath been this journal greeting, and under the generation you shall find your safeties ministered.
I am your free dependent.
Quick, dispatch and send the head for Angelo. Now, I will write these letters to Angelo. The provost, he shall bear them, whose contents shall witness them near at home, and that with the great bound to enter publicly. Him I'll desire to meet me in the consecrated fount, a league below our city, and from hence, by the cold gradation and well-balanced form, we shall proceed with Angelo.
Enter provost with Ragazine's head. Here is the head. I'll carry it myself.
Convenient is it. Make a swift return, for I would commune with you in such things that want no ear but yours.
I'll make all speed.
Peace, ho, be here.
The tongue of Isabel, that's come to know if yet her brother's pardon be come hither, but I will keep her ignorant of her good, to make her heavenly comforts of despair when it is least expected.
Ho, by your leave.
Good morning to you, fair and gracious daughter.
The better given me by a so holy man. Hath yet the deputy sent my brother pardon?
He hath released him, Isabel, from the world. His head is off and sent to Angelo.
Nay, but it is not so.
It is no other. Show your wisdom, daughter, in this close patience.
Oh, I will to him pluck out his eyes.
You shall not be admitted to his sight.
Unhappy Claudio, wretched Isabel, injurious world, most damned Angelo.
This nor hurts him nor profits you jot. Forbear it therefore give you cause to heaven. Mark what I say, which thou shalt find by the every syllable of faithful verity. Duke comes home tomorrow. Nay, dry your eyes. One of our covenant, and his confessor gives me his instant. Already he hath carried notice to Aeschylus and Angelo, who do prepare to meet him at the gates. There they will give him his power, if you can place your wisdom in that good path that it would wish it to go, and you shall have your bosom on his wretch. Grace of the Duke ravages your heart and general.
I am directed by you.
This letter then, to Friar Peter give it. Tis that he sent of the Duke's return. Say by this token, I desire his company. At Mariana's house tonight, her cause and yours, I'll be perfect with. And he shall bring to you before the Duke and to the head of Angelo, accuse him home and home. For my poor self, I am combined by a sacred vow, and thus be absent. When you have this letter, command these fretting waters from your eyes with a light heart. Trust not my holy order. If I pervert your course, who's here?
Enter Lucio. Good even, Friar. Where's the provost?
Not within, sir.
Oh, pretty Isabella. I am pale at mine heart to see thine eyes so red. Thou must be patient. I am fain to dine and sup with water and bran. I dare not for my head fill my belly. One fruitful meal would set me to't. But they say the Duke will be here tomorrow. By my troth, Isabel, I love thy brother. If the old fantastical Duke of Dark Corners had been at home, he had lived.
Sir, the Duke is marvellous, little beholding to your reports. But the best is, he lives not in them.
Friar, thou knowest not the Duke so well as I do. He's a better woodsman than thou takest him for.
Well, you'll answer this one day. Fairly well.
Nay, Terry, I'll go along with thee. I can tell thee pretty tales of the Duke.
You have told me too many. If not true, none were enough.
I was once before him for getting a wench with child.
Did you such a thing?
Yes, marry did I, but I was fain to forswear it. They would else have married me to the rotten meddler.
Sir, your company is fair. Rest you well.
By my troth, I'll go with thee to the lane's end. If bawdy talk offend you, we'll have very little of it. Nay, Friar, I am a kind of burr. I shall stick. Meanwhile, here comes Angelo, a.k.a. Incel Kylo Ren, the villain of the piece, and Aeschylus. Every letter he hath writ hath disavouched other. In most uneven and distracted manner, his actions show much like to madness. Pray heaven his wisdom be not tainted. And why meet him at the gates and redeliver our authorities there? I guess not. And why should we proclaim it in an hour before his entering, that if any crave redress of injustice, they should exhibit their petitions in the street? He shows his reason for that, to have a dispatch of complaints, and to deliver us from devices hereafter, which shall then have no power to stand against us. Well, I beseech you, let it be proclaimed betimes of the morn. I'll call you at your house. Give notice to such men of sort and suit are us to meet him. I shall, sir. Fare you well. Aeschylus leaves. Good night. This deed unshapes me quite. Makes me unpregnant and dull to all proceedings, a deflowered maid, and by an eminent body that enforced the law against it. But that her tender shame will not proclaim against her maiden loss, how might she tongue me? Yet reason dares her no, for my authority bears of a credent bulk that no particular scandal once can touch, but it confounds the breather. He should have lived, save that his riotous youth with dangerous sense might in the times to come obtain revenge by so receiving a dishonoured life with ransom of such shame. Would yet he'd lived. Alack, when once our grace we have forgot, nothing goes right. We would, and we would not. And so he leaves. To go about his foul business. And here comes the Duke, dressed as himself, and the friar that he stole the friar outfit from.
These letters at fit's time deliver me. The provost knows our purpose and our plot. The matter being afoot, keep your instruction, and hold you ever to our special drift. Though sometimes you do bletch for this and that, as cause doth minister. Go, call the Flavius house, and tell him where I stay. Give that like notice to Vallius, Roland, and Crassus, and bid them that their trumpets to the gate, but send me Flavius first.
It shall be
speeded well.
Varius comes in.
I thank thee, Varius. Thou hast made good haste. Come, we will walk. There are other of my friends will greet us soon anon, my gentle Varius.
And here comes Isabel and Mariana, that's the person that Angelo has designs on, and Angelo's ex.
To speak so indirectly, I am loath. I would say the truth, but to accuse him so, that is your part. Yet I am advised to do it. He says to veil full purpose.
Be ruled by him.
Besides, he tells me that if pre-adventure he speaks against me or the I should not think it strange, for 'tis psych. That's bitter to sweet end.
I would, Friar Peter.
Oh, peace, the friar is come.
Come, I have found you out to stand most fit, where you may have vantage on the Duke. He shall not pass you. Twice have the trumpets sounded. The generous and gravest citizens have hent the gates, and very near upon the Duke is entering. Therefore, hence, away.
They leave, but then in come all the lads. It's the Duke dressed as himself. He's coming back. He's come back to Vienna, finally. And Varius and all of his mates are there, all the lads. Also, so is Angelo, Incel, Kylo Ren, and Aeschylus. And Lucio, for some reason, is also there. And all the citizens are there. Everyone's there. The whole lads are there. In comes the Duke.
My very worthy cousin, fairly... Our old and faithful friend, we are glad to see you.
Happy return be to your royal grace.
Many and hearty thankings to you both. We have made inquiry for you, and here good news, that our soul cannot but yield your forth to public thanks, running more quickly.
You make my bonds still greater.
Oh, your desert speaks so loud, and I should wrong it, to lock it in the wards of covered bosom, that when it deserves with the characters of brass, afforded residence gainest of the tooth of time, as residence oblivion. Give me your hand, and let me subjects see, to give you though the outward courtesies that would fain proclaim favours that within. Come, Aeschylus, you must walk by us with your other hand, and good supporters are you.
Here comes Friar Peter and Isabella.
Now is your time. Speak loud and kneel before him.
Justice, O royal Duke, veil your regard upon a wronged. I would fain have said a maid. O worthy prince, dishonour not your eye by throwing it on any other object, till you have heard me in my true plate, and given me justice.
Relate your wrongs. In what? By whom? Be brief. Here is Lord Angelo, shall give you justice. Reveal yourself to him.
O worthy Duke, you bid me seek redemption of the devil. Hear me yourself, for that which I must speak must either punish me not being believed, or wring redress from you. Hear me, oh hear me here.
My lord, her wits I fear me are not firm. She hath been a suitor to me for her brother, cut off by course of justice.
By course of justice?
And she will speak most bitterly and strange, especially because having so many people on stage means that the microphones are slightly cutting out.
Oh. Most strange, but yet most truly will I speak, that Angelo's forsworn. Is it not strange that Angelo's a murderer? Is it not strange that Angelo is an adulterous thief, an hypocrite, a virgin violator? Is it not strange and strange?
Nay, it is 10 times strange.
It is not truer he is Angelo. Then this is all as true as it is strange. Nay, it is 10 times true, for truth is truth, to end of reckoning.
Away with her, poor soul. She speaks this in the infirmity of sense.
O prince, I conjure thee, as thou believest, there is another comfort than this world, that thou neglect me not. With that opinion I am touched with madness. Make not impossible that which but seems unlike. 'Tis not impossible, but one the wickedest caitiff on the ground may seem as sly, as grave, as just, as absolute as Angelo. Even so may Angelo, in all his dressing, carrots, titles, form, be an arch villain. Believe it, royal prince. If he be less, he's nothing, but he's more. Had I more name for badness.
By mine honesty, if she be mad, as I believe no other, her madness hath oddest frame and sense, such dependency of thing on thing as I hear in madness.
O gracious Duke, harp not on that, nor do not banish reason for inability, but let your reason serve to make the truth appear where it seems hid, and hide the false seems true.
Many that are not mad have, sure, more lack of reason. What would you say?
I am the sister of one Claudio, condemned upon the act of fornication to lose his head, condemned by Angelo. I, in probation of a sisterhood, was sent to by my brother, one Lucio, as then the messenger.
That's I, and like your grace, I came from her to Claudio and desired her to try her gracious fortune with Lord Angelo for her poor brother's pardon.
That's he indeed.
You were not bid to speak.
No, my good lord, nor wish to hold my peace.
I wish you now then, pray you, take note of it, and when you have a business for yourself, pray heaven, then you be perfect.
I warrant your honour.
The warrants for yourself, take heed to it.
This gentleman told somewhat of my tale.
Right.
It may be right, but you are either wrong to speak before your time. Proceed.
I went to this pernicious caitiff deputy.
That's somewhat madly spoken.
Pardon it, the phrase is to the matter.
Mend it again. The matter. Proceed.
In brief, to set the needless process by how I persuaded, how I prayed and kneeled, how he refilled me, and how but this was much length, the vile conclusion I now begin with grief and shame to utter. He would not, but by gift of my chaste body, to his concupulous intemperate lust, release my brother, and after much debate, my sisterly remorse confutes mine honour, and I did yield to him. But the next morn betimes, he purposefully fighting sends a warrant for my poor brother's head.
This is most likely.
Oh, that it were as like as it is true.
By heaven, fond wretch, thou knowest that not what thou speakest, or else thou art stubborn of suborned against your honour in hateful practice. First, his integrity stands without blemish. Next, it imports no reason that such vehemency he should pursue faults proper to himself. If he had so offended, he would have weighed thy brother by himself and have cut him off. Someone hath sent you on. Confess the truth, and say by whose advice thou camest here to complain.
And is this all? Then, oh, ye blessed ministers above, keep me in patience, and with the ripened time unfold the evil which is here wrapped up in countenance. Heaven shield your grace from woe, as I thus wronged hence unbelieved go.
And so she tries to leave.
I know your fame be gone. An officer, to prison with her, to the dungeon.
She's arrested instantly.
A blasting of scandalous breath on him so near us. This needs to be a practice. Who knew of your intent coming hither?
One that I would were here, Freya Lodowick.
A ghostly father be like. Who knows this Lodowick?
My lord, I know him. 'Tis a meddling friar, for I do not like the man. Had he been lay, my lord, for certain words he spake against your grace in your retirement, I'd swinged him soundly.
Words against me? This is a good friar. Belike, and to set upon this wretched woman here, against our substitute, let this friar be found.
But yesternight, my lord, she and that friar, I saw them at the prison, a saucy friar, a very scurvy fellow.
Blessed be your royal grace. I have stood by, my lord, and I have heard your royal ear abused. First hath this woman most wrongfully accused your substitute, who is as free from touch or soil with her as she is from one ungut.
We did believe no less. Know you that Friar Lodwick that she speaks of?
I know him for a man divine and holy, not scurvy nor a temporary meddler, as he's reported by this gentleman, and on my trust, a man that never yet did, as he vouches, misreport your grace.
My lord most villainously believe it.
Well, he in time may come to clear himself, but at this instant he is sick, my lord, of a strange fever. Upon his mere request, being come to knowledge that there was complaint intended against Lord Angelo, came I hither, to speak as from his mouth what he doth know is true and false, and what he with his oath and all probation will make up full clear, whensoever he's convented. First, for this woman. to justify this worthy nobleman, so vulgarly and personally accused, her shall you hear disproved to her eyes, till she herself confess it.
Good friar, let's hear it. Do you not smile at this, Lord Angelo? Oh, heaven, the vanity of such wretched fools! Give us some seats. Come, cousin Angelo, in this impatient, be you the judge. Of your own cause, is this the witness, friar? First, let it show her face, and after speak.
Pardon, my lord, I will not show my face until my husband bid me.
What, are you married?
No, my lord.
Are you a maid?
No, my lord.
A widow, then?
Neither, my lord.
Why, you are nothing, then! Neither maid, nor widow, nor...
My lord, she may be a punk, for many of them are neither maid, nor widow, nor wife.
Silence that fellow. I would he had some cause to prattle for himself.
Well, my lord?
My lord, I do confess I ne'er was married, and I confess besides I am no maid. I have known my husband, yet my husband knows not that ever he knew me.
Oh, he was drunk then, my lord, it can be no better.
For the benefit of silence, would thou wert so too?
Well, my lord?
This is no witness for Lord Angelo.
Now I come to it, my lord. She that accuses him of fornication in self-same manner doth accuse my husband, and charges him, my lord, with such a time, when I'll depose I had him in mine arms with all the effect of love.
Charges she more than me?
Not that I know.
No, you say your husband?
Why, just, my lord, and that is Angelo, who thinks he knows that he ne'er knew my body, but knows he thinks that he knows Isabel's.
This is a strange abuse. Let's see thy face.
My husband bids me, now I will unmask. This is that face, thou cruel Angelo, which once thou sworest was worth the looking on. This is the hand which with a vowed contract was fast belocked in thine. This is the body that took away the match from Isabel, and did supply thee at thy garden house in her imagined person.
Know you this woman?
Carnally, she says.
Sir, no more.
Oh, enough, my lord. My lord, I must confess I know this woman. And 5 years since there was some speech of marriage betwixt myself and her, which was broke off, partly for that her promised proportions came short of composition, but in chief for that her reputation was disvalued in levity, since which time of 5 years I never spake with her, saw her, nor heard from her upon my faith and honour.
Noble prince, as there comes light from heaven and words from breath, as there is sense in truth and truth in virtue, I am affianced to this man's wife as strongly as words could make up vows, and my good lord, but Tuesday night last gone in Scarden House, he knew me as a wife. As this is true, let me in safety raise me from my knees, or else for ever be confixed here a marble monument.
I did but smile till now. Now, good my lord, give me the scope of justice. My patience here is touched. I do perceive these poor informal women are no more but instruments of some more mightier member that sets them on. Let me have my way, my lord, to find this practice out.
Aye, with my heart. And punish them to your height of pleasure, thou foolish friar, and thou pernicious woman, compact with her that's gone, thinkest thou thy oaths, though they would swear down the particular saint were testimonies against the worth and credit that seal the above. You, Lord Aeschylus, sit with your cousin, lend him your kind pains to find out this abuse, whence 'tis derived. Then is another friar that set him on. Let him be sent for.
Would he were here, my lord, for he indeed hath set the woman on to this complaint. Your provost knows the place where he abides, and he may fetch him.
Go do it instantly. Off you go. And you, my noble and well-warranted cousin, whom it concerns to hear the matter forth, do you your injuries as it seems you best. In any chastisement, I, for the while, will leave you. But, sir, do not till you have well determined upon these slanderers.
My lord will do it thoroughly. Signor Lucio, did you not say you knew that Friar Loderick to be a dishonest person? Cuculus non facit monarchum, honest in nothing but his clothes, and one that hath spoke most villainous speeches of the Duke. We shall entreat you to abide here till he come and enforce them against him. We shall find this friar a notable fellow, as any in Vienna, on my word. Call that same Isabel here once again. I would speak with her. Pray you, my lord, give me leave to question. You shall see how I'll handle her. Not better than any by her own report. Say you? Marry, so I think if you handled her privately, she would sooner confess. Perchance publicly she'll be ashamed. In comes the Duke, disguised once again as the friar, with the provost and Isabella. I will go darkly to work with her. That's the way, for women are light at midnight. Come on, mistress, here's a gentlewoman denies all that you have said. Oh, my lord, here comes the rascal I spoke of, here with the provost. In very good time. Speak not you to him till we call upon you. Mum. Come, sir, did you set these women on to slander Lord Angelo? They have confessed you did.
'Tis false.
How? Know you where you are?
Respect your great place, and let the devil be sometimes honoured for his burning throne. Where is the Duke? As you should speak to hear me.
The Duke's in us, and we will hear you speak. Look, you speak justly.
Boldly, at least. But oh, poor souls! Come you speak the lamb before? Come you to seek the lamb here for the fox? Good night to your redress. Is the Duke gone? Then in your cause gone too. The Duke's unjust. Thus to retort to the manifest appeal, and put your trial in the villain's mouth, which here you come to accuse.
This is the rascal. This is he that I spoke of. Why, thou unreverend and unhallowed friar, it's not enough that thou hast suborned these women to accuse these worthy men, but in foul mouth and in the witness of his proper ear to call him villain, and then to glance from him to the Duke himself to tax him with injustice. Take him hence to the rack with him. We'll touse you joint by joint, but we will know his purpose. What? Unjust?
Be not so hot. The Duke dare no more stretch his finger of mine than he dare his own rack to his own. His subject I am not, nor here provincial. My business in this state made me a looker on here in Vienna, where I have seen corruption boil and bubble, till it o'er with the stew, laws with all its faults, but faults so counteranced, and the strong statutes stand with the forfeits of the barber shops, as much in mock as mark.
Slander to the state. Away with him to prison. What can you vouch against him, Signor Lucio? Is this the man that you did tell us of? 'Tis he, my lord. Come hither, good man, bold paint. Do you know me?
I remember you, sir, by the sound of your voice. I met you at the prison, in the absence of the Duke.
Oh, did you so? And do you remember what you said of the Duke?
Most notably, sir.
Oh, do you so, sir? And was the Duke a fleshmonger, a fool, and a coward, as you then reported him to be?
You must, sir, change persons with me, ere you make that my report. You, indeed, spoke so much of him, and much more, much worse.
Oh, thou damnable fellow, did I not pluck thee by the nose for thy speeches?
I protest in I love the Duke as I love myself.
Hark, how the villain would close now after his treasonable abuses. Such a fellow is not to be talked withal. Away with him to prison. Where is the provost? Away with him to prison. Lay bolts enough upon him. Let him speak no more. Away with those giglots too, and with the other confederate companion.
Stay, sir, stay a while.
What, resists he? Help him, Lucio. Come, sir, come, sir, come, sir, for sir. Why, you bald-pated lying rascal, you must be hooded, must you? Show your knave's visage with a pox to you. Show your sheep-biting face and be hanged an hour. Wilt not off? He pulls off the friar's hood, and it's the Duke.
You fool, it's me! Thou art the first knave that first provost, let me bail these gentle thee. Sneak not away, sir. For the friar and you must have a warn anon. Lay hold on him.
This may prove worse than hanging.
What you have spoke I pardon. Sit you down. We'll borrow place of him. Sir, by your leave, hast thou a word or wit or impudence that you can speak the office? Thou haste, rely upon it with your tale, be heard, and hold no longer out.
Oh, my dread lord, I should be guiltier than my guiltiness to think I can be undiscernible when I perceive your grace, like power divine, hath looked upon my passes. Then, good prince, no longer session hold upon my shame, but let my trial be mine own confession. Immediate sentence, then, and sequent death is all grace I can beg.
Come hither, Mariana. Say, wast thou a contract?
I was, my lord.
Go, take her hence, and marry her instantly. Do you offence, friar? Which consummate, return him here again. Go with him, provost.
And so, Angelo, Mariana, the friar, and the provost all leave. My lord, I am more amazed at his dishonour than at the strangeness of it.
Come hither, Isabella. Your friar is now your prince, as I was then, but to your business, not changing heart with habit, I am still attorney at your service.
Oh, give me pardon, that I, your vassal, have employed in pain. Sovereign.
You are pardoned, Isabel. And now, dear maid, be you as free to us. Your brother's death, I know, sits high, and you may marvel why I obscured myself, laboring to save his life, and would not rather make rash of my hidden power, then let him so be lost, O most kind maid. It is most swift celerity of his death, which I did think the slower route to came on, and that brained my purpose with him. That life is better life, past fearing death, than that which lives to fear. Make it your comfort, so happy is your brother.
I do, my lord.
For
Angelo, Mariana, Friar, and the Peter and the Provost all come back.
For this new married man approached here, whose salt imagination yet hath wronged your well-defended honor. You must pardon for Mariana's sake, but as he has judged your brother, being criminal in double violation of sacred chastity, of promised breach, thereon dependent, for your brother's life, the very mercy of the law cries out, most audible, even from your proper tongue, and Angelo for Claudio, death for death. Haste still plays haste, and leisure answers leisure. Like doth quit like the measure for still for leisure. And then Angelo, thy faults thus manifested, which thou would denies the advantage. We do condemn thee the every block, where Claudio stooped upon death, and with that haste. Away with.
Oh, my most gracious lord, I hope you will not mock me with a husband.
It is your husband's mocked. You with your husband consenting the safeguard of your honor. I thought that the marriage fit else reputation, for that you knew you might reapproach your life and choke your good to come for his possessions, although by confiscation they are ours. For we do instate that the widow your will to buy you a better.
Sorry. My screen just changed size and lost the line.
Oh, my dear lord.
Oh, my dear lord.
Never crave him. We are too definitive. Gentle, my liege.
Gentle, my... sorry. Craven. Gentle, my liege. Found it.
You do not but lose your labor. Away with him to death. Now, sir, to you.
Oh, my good lord, sweet Isabel, take my part. Lend me your knees, and all my life to come, I'll lend you all my life to do you service.
Against all sense you do importune her. She should kneel down in mercy of this fact. Her brother's ghost has paid the bed would break, and take her hence in...
Isabel, sweet Isabel, do yet but kneel by me. Hold up your hands, say nothing, I'll speak all. They say best men are molded out of faults, and for the most become much more the better for being a little bad. So may my husband. Oh, Isabel, will you not lend a knee?
He dies for Claudio's death.
Most bounteous sir, look, if it please you, on this man condemned. As if my brother lived, I partly think a due sincerity governed his deeds, till he did look on me. Since it is so, let him not die. My brother had but justice, in that he did the thing for which he died. For his act did not overtake his bad intent, and must be buried but as an intent. That perished by the way, thoughts are no subjects, intents but merely...
Merely, my lord.
Your suit's unprofitable. Stand up, I say. I have before me a provost. How minded came that Claudio was beheaded at the usual hour?
It was commanded so.
Had you a special warrant for the deed?
No, my good lord, it was by private message.
For which I do discharge you of your office. Give up your keys.
Pardon me, noble lord, I thought it was a fault, but knew it not, yet did repent me after more advice. For testimony whereof one in the prison that should by private order else have died, I have reserved alive.
What's he?
His name is Barnardine.
I would thou hadst done so by Claudio. Go fetch him hither. Let me look.
I am sorry one so learned and so wise as you, Lord Angelo, have still appeared, should slip so grossly, both in the heat of blood and lack of tempered judgment afterward. I am sorry that such sorrow I procure, and so deep sticks it in my penitent heart that I crave death more willingly than mercy. 'Tis my deserving, and I do entreat it. In comes the Provost, and Barnardine, and Claudio, who's bound and gagged, and Julietta.
What is that Barnardine?
This, my lord.
Oh, there was a friar told me of this one. Sir, Thou art said to have been a stubborn soul that apprehends squarest thy life according. Thou art condemned, but for those earthly faults I them. And I pray thee that thy mercy to provide for better times to come to worse. For better times to come, Friar, advise him. Oh God, what? Oh, I've lost where I am. What's muffled fellow that?
This is another prisoner that I saved, who should have died when Claudio lost his head, as like almost to Claudio as himself. And I
To
it's Claudio.
Oh. If he be like your brother, for his sake is he pardoned, and then for your lovely sake, give me your hand, and say you will be mine. He is my brother true, but fit for that. By this Lord Angelo, methinks I see a quickening in his eye. Well, Angelo, your evil quits you well. Look that you would love your wife, her worth yours. I find that apprehension in myself, and yet here's one in place that I pardon. Lucio, you, Sarah, that knew me for a fool, a coward, one all luxury, an ass, madman, wherein I've deserved you, that you extol me down.
Faith, my lord, I spoke it but according to the trick. If you will hang me for it, you may, but I had rather it would please you I might be whipped.
Whipped first, sir, and hanged after. Proclaimed it those round about the city. Is any woman wronged by the... As I have heard him swear himself, there's one, whom he begot with his child, let her appear, and he shall marry her, and nuptial finished, let him be whipped.
I beseech your highness, do not marry me to a whore. Your highness said even now I made you a duke. Good my lord, do not recompense me in making me a cuckold. It's always about cucks.
Upon mine honour, thou shalt marry. Thy slanders I forgive, and therewith remit thy of forfeits. Take him to the prison, and see our pleasure herein execute.
Marrying a punk, my lord, is pressing to death, whipping and hanging.
Slandering a prince deserves. She, Claudio, that you wronged, look you restore. Joy to you, Mariana. Love her, Angelo. I have confessed her. Thanks, good friend Aeschylus. Sorry? Oh, right, okay. There's more behind from what you gratulate. Thanks, Provost. For thy care and secrecy, we shall still employ thee worthy a place. Forgive him, Angelo, that's brought you home, the head of Ranganos and Claudio. The offence pardons itself, dear Isabel. I have motion much imports you to your good, whereto, if you'll be willing, ear incline, that mine is yours, and what is yours is mine. So bring us to your palace, where we shall show what's yet behind, and meet you all.
And that is the end of Measure for Measure. Thank you so much, and thank you to people for bearing with us through the technical problems. Even when you have everyone on stage at the end, things can get a little bit robotic. Robot Shakespeare, we love it. But thank you to everyone for staying with us through Measure for Measure. Thank you to all the cast, including Dave and Hella. I'm very pleased to say we have now smashed through the meme number for over $42,000 for the Samaritans. If you are just joining us, we're raising money for the Samaritans. They're a charity, a wonderful charity that helps people who are in emotional distress, mental health charity. They run a very famous suicide hotline. I've been in touch with them. They're so grateful to have everyone's help. Thank you for your donations. So let me tell you what's going to happen now. We're going to take 15 minutes. We're probably going to reset the stream. The chat will keep going, but you'll see it turn off and on just so Twitch can, deal with its technical stuff. And then after about a 15-minute interval, we will come back with A Midsummer Night's Dream, which there's going to be quite a few guests for that one, I think, including a very special guest is Titania. And we're going to have a lot of fun. It's a very popular one. I hope you can join us for that. And in the meantime, please keep going. Please keep donating. Thank you to all the cast and to all the tech team who were running around behind the scenes at the end of that one. They're trying to sort stuff out. It's the beauty of live theatre, darlings. Also, we have now been streaming for just over 24 hours, and in that time have raised over $40,000, which is pretty good as far as a day at work goes. I mean, I've been awake for 20 and my beard has grown a little, but yeah. Well, let's keep going. On to A Midsummer Night's Dream, and we'll see you in 15 of your finest minutes.